Running back Michael Jenkins proved his point last Saturday night. He got the football and he scored 4 touchdowns. Daryl Mitchell always gets the ball. He is the Argos' best player and usually the key to Toronto's success.
Joe Barnes, in just his second game in the CFL, can't be just another ordinary Joe facing Daryl Mitchell. And if the Argos run the ball, the answer will be Kelly Lotbaum. He's hungry to prove he can play.
Tonight at McMahon, 2 teams that both began horribly this season and finally won last week. The Stamps and the Argos 1-3 now. The winner in Calgary tonight gets back in the playoff race. It's a perfect evening for it for the fans anyway. 31 degrees Celsius. The wind's southwest at 26.
2 hot teams riding 1-game winning streaks.
Well, you know, looking back a week, that's pretty important, isn't it?
No question.
Looking back to last season, Argo coach Mike Clemens has led his team to 5 straight victories on the road after last Saturday's resounding win in Saskatchewan. Number 6 tonight would be awfully sweet.
Well, on the other sideline, Wale Buono is looking for win number 141 in his career. He's just 34 wins behind Don Matthews to become the all-time winningest coach in the CFL. And he has smiled just once this year. That was briefly last week after his team recorded their first win of the season. It was definitely not a Calgary start.
Yeah, that was against BC, and really what the Stampeders did last week was shut down the BC Lions completely, something they'll have to do tonight against the Argonauts, who put 50 points on the board in Saskatchewan last Saturday night.
Well, Pinball Clemens got a chance on the other sideline with Kerwin Bell injured to play Jimmy Kemp, and boy did Kemp ever take advantage of the opportunity, throwing for close to 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. And right now Pinball Clemens feels like he has 2 very capable quarterbacks when Kerwin Bell comes back from being a little bit banged up.
Well, Kemp has the hot hand. He gets the start tonight. And Pinball Clemens has had his Argos on the road for about 10 days now. They started in Saskatchewan, bust their way to Calgary, and spent the week here soaking up the sunshine and the mountain air.
Well, Mike Clemens loves to be on the road.
Absolutely.
He's won 6 straight, is it?
6 straight on the road. He's after his 8th win as a head coach in the Canadian Football League tonight. Dropping deep for the Calgary Stampeders in the opening kickoff, Antonio Warren standing back near his 20-yard line. And we're underway at McMahon. Huge kick, taking Warren right back to his goal line before he can turn around and start back. Antonio Warren dropped at the 22-yard line. So Marcus Crandall is the league's #1 percentage passer. He has made very few errors in his 3 starts for the Calgary Stampeders. Twice as many touchdowns as interceptions, and that always looks good when you stretch out the quarterback numbers.
Yeah, well, he's a #1 rated quarterback, like you mentioned, after 4 weeks. But if you ask him, he'll say the most important stat there is when you get the W, and it was his first W a week ago against the Lions.
So the Stampeders begin at the Calgary 20-yard line. Over 30,000 on hand again here tonight. Crandall's shotgun, and he's on target with his first pass of the night out near the 30-yard line. Travis Moore made the catch. Moore's the CFL's top receiver. Mark Boerichter grabbed a highlight touchdown reception last week against BC. Kelvin Anderson averages 5 yards a carry, and up front it's Childress and Ram, both leaders on the Calgary offensive line. How close did Travis get? We'll find out here. They'll measure the first pass of the night.
The guy that will be locked up on Travis Moore the entire night will be Alondo Steinauer. He's moved from the safety a week ago to the halfback position, and that's the matchup the Argos want defensively. Try and get the veteran in Steinauer, who's been in the league for 6 years, matched up against the league's #1 receiver so far in Travis Moore.
Moore comes to the near side this time on first down. Calgary out just across the 30-yard line. Little play action fake from Crandall to the far side, and on target again, but no catch for Boerichter near the 40-yard line.
Defensively for the Toronto Argonauts, big play last week out of Damon Gibson, who was the newcomer a week ago, playing his first game against Saskatchewan. He had a big fumble recovery. And in the secondary, I already mentioned it, Alondo Steinauer moves to halfback for his 2nd game this year, and Dwayne Provo moves to the safety position. Steinauer will be the key tonight. Can he slow down Travis Moore, who's been red hot after 4 weeks?
Crandall actually missing Vince Danielson, number 88, on the far side. So this is 2nd and 10. Charges on. Crandall just got it away and a little short on the toss for Peterson. So there was pressure on Crandall that time.
The nice thing that Marcus Crandall did last week versus the BC Lions is he stood in there and he took some punishment to complete the pass. And quarterbacks oftentimes have to do that. You wait that extra second for your guy to open up.
Took a big hit on the touchdown toss to Bo Richter.
Yeah, that was from David Benefield, and that was one of a couple in the game, but they don't hurt as much when you throw touchdown passes.
Interesting matchup in the punting department today. Duncan O'Mahony will get to kick against the guy who used to hold this job in Calgary, Tony Martino. So here's O'Mahony's first kick of the night. And Martino might be smiling at that because on the return, the Argonauts will get decent field position. Curtis Gallick took it back 6 yards. The punt traveled just 31. And there's a penalty marker down on the return. Jimmy Kemp and the Argos get their hands. Jimmy Kemp solid in all aspects of his game in his first start this season last Saturday in Saskatchewan. Second crack at running the Argonaut offense here tonight. First possession right near midfield after a poor kick by O'Mahony of the Stampeders. Here's Kemp running and rolling. Long toss. Almost had Greg Hill. Kemp went to all his weapons last week. Mitchell and Browning were the key receivers. Running back Michael Jenkins had his best game and averaged 7.1 yards a carry. Up front, 2 huge tackles, veteran Dwayne Morgan and rookie Juan Roque.
No question, Michael Jenkins, the key in that offense. 127 yards last week out of one play. We diagrammed it in the pregame show, but they started out the first play of this game with the same play they had success a week ago.
Kemp to his right, flag down as he tried to hit Daryl Mitchell.
Defensively for the Calgary Stampeders, some changes in the linebacking core. Kelly Lockbaum will get the start if the Argos are running the ball. If not, it will go to Kelly Malvold, who'll come in the game. He's the extra defensive back. And Greg Frere's the only DB with an interception this year. Joe Barnes will be matched up tonight on Daryl Mitchell.
Starting lineups are brought to you by Midas. Keep a good thing going. Go Midas. Henley against the Argonauts offense offside, so it's a third down situation for Toronto. And Tony Martino gets a chance to put the boot to Wally Buono here and now.
Well, did he ever have a big game a week ago in his first game back in the CFL after being released by Wally Buono? He had a huge average.
Not a bad start. And no return for Warren. Martino's kick traveled 37 yards.
Well, Tony Martino said before this game that maybe his only concern is that he doesn't walk to the wrong sideline. Obviously played a long time for that man, Wally Buono. Tony Martino, released this year, was very unhappy with the way he was handled.
He didn't like the way he was handled. Wally Buono has another spin on the story with Mark McLaughlin retiring. He's looking at Duncan O'Mahony as his punter and place kicker in years ahead. McLaughlin announced his retirement last week at the end of this season. So two sides to the story. We'll see how it unfolds here tonight. 1st and 10, Stampeders inside the 20. Kelvin Anderson.
Well, as we talked about Michael Jenkins, the key to the Argo offense, Kelvin Anderson also so important to this Calgary Stampeder offense. Last week in their first win had over 100 yards as he crawls up the list.
Well, he's moving rather quickly. It's not exactly a snail's pace, is it?
No, not at all.
5 straight 1,000-yard seasons, so he's closing in on the front runners in Calgary Stampeder history. This is 2nd down. Travis Moore. Moore will have the first down. He got away from Adrian Smith and is finally wrapped up and forced down near the 40-yard line. Alfred Payton got back.
Travis Moore this time got matched up on Adrian Smith, and it's because he used motion. He slides down inside, and that forces the corner, Adrian Smith, to go down there inside with him. Now, Adrian Smith is not used to playing the halfback position. He has to chase him across the field, and Moore picks up the first down.
14 yards in total for Travis Moore, who's the leading receiver in the CFL right now. At least after week 4. Another first down. Kelvin Anderson takes the handoff, and there's another penalty marker down right on the line.
One of the reasons the Argos had success a week ago was that they started to dominate the line of scrimmage both offensively and defensively, and really believe that the key for them defensively against this Calgary offense is to get pressure with 4 guys on that defensive line. Johnny Scott.
Offside. Toronto 99. First down repeated.
That's Alfred Payton, an 11-year veteran.
Alfred Payton's another guy up front. He's leading the league in sacks. Damon Gibson and Roger Dunbar. Those are the 4 guys that are key for that defense right now.
Payton says it's only a matter of time before he is the #1 sacker of quarterbacks in CFL history. He's got a ways to go with 122. And the leader is Grover Covington of the Hamilton Tiger Cats with 157. He may need to play a year or 2 more.
Well, it was interesting. Alfred Payton was saying coming into this game that he's calmed down a little bit. He doesn't get the unnecessary roughness, illegal hit penalties that he used to get as a young man. And he says, you know, I haven't had a penalty all season long. Well, he just had one.
Yeah.
So there goes that streak.
Marcus Crandall didn't like what he was seeing down there from that Argonaut defense, so he called the timeout and came over to talk to George Cortez, the offensive coordinator.
One thing you know with George Cortez, you will be prepared for the defense you're going to see on the field. Last week, a tremendous job of game planning against the BC Lion blitz package really was the key to that victory.
Again, first was 5, Calgary.
First down. Stampeders, they need 5 for another. Kelvin Anderson, nice cut at the line, and Anderson is out to the 55. Wonderful to watch. He averages 5.3 yards every time he touches the ball.
Alfred Payton right at the top of your screen gets a bit of a surprise. He's blocked down. He can't get from the backside to Kelvin Anderson, and Anderson just runs away for big yards.
So this drive continues for the Stampeders. They've been rolling along well after beginning back near the 20. Another 5 yards for Kelvin Anderson. Stopped by Orlando Steinauer.
Kelvin Anderson started the season with a 100-yard-plus game, and then in week 4 had over 100 yards. When you talk to this Calgary team, they really feel like they should be 3-1. Not 1-3. They think they gave one away against the Edmonton Eskimos, and they gave one away against Winnipeg. Kelvin Anderson has been doing his job when he's had his opportunities, running the ball over 15 times in a game.
And when he gets 20 carries, Stampeders usually win. This is second down, and neatly played defensively by Marcelo Simmons.
Well, that play came underneath it. I believe it was Vince Danielson, and Marcelo Simmons was trying to chase. He didn't get much help from the safety, Dwayne Provo, who was really deep, but here he comes across the field, and watch Simmons about 3 yards behind him, but has the closing speed when the football is in the air.
Duncan O'Mahony's second kick at it tonight. First one traveled just 31 yards. That one almost blocked by the Argos. A one-hopper to Adrian Smith. Wrapped up by Aldi Henry. Penalty marker back in the Stampeder backfield.
Brad Elberg almost blocked that punt.
O'Mahony got it away for 42 yards.
I think Elberg went.
Holding. Toronto number 29. It's first down, Toronto.
Curtis Gallick charged with holding. Here's how close Elberg got to blocking this one. Back live at McMahon Stadium. Here's Sherry with another page from the Stampeder Baby Book.
The Stamps added a new free safety this week. However, he won't be added to the active roster till about 2023. Greg Frères and his wife Lisa delivered their first child on Sunday, a bouncing baby boy. Lucas Ellen Frères weighed in at 7 pounds, 9 ounces, and everyone's doing well. In fact, Lisa's in the stands tonight. Can you believe it? Now that's support considering last Friday she was also in the stands and she was in labor.
And Greg Frères was in the room the whole time. In fact, he
said
cut,
it was a piece of cake.
it was no problem. He said he cut the cord. Dude, it gives me the willies, man. But he cut the cord. He said he loved it. It was great.
Looked like he was listening to us as he covered his ears down there.
Congrats.
Just as you talked about that.
Congratulations to the Frères.
Yeah, Argonauts second down. Kemp has his target out at the 35. Alford turned just at the last possible second to make a fine catch. Ted Alford's 17th reception of the year.
Aldi Henry had a chance at him. He's going to drop here, and then when the ball's in the air, he heads to the outside, number 9. And this is why Alford just kind of stabs at it, because if he keeps running, he's got lots of room to run. But you see Aldi Henry coming, so he kind of protected himself as he caught that football and went down. Number 9 was trying to level him.
30-yard gain for Ted Alford. First down of the night for the Argos, and it's a huge one out near the 37-yard line, and that's a long way from where this drive began. Kemp, a nice little fake. Looking for someone open. He won't get away. Wrapped up by Alondra Johnson.
In the pregame show, we talked about this play and how much success the Argos had with it last week versus Saskatchewan, and how it puts pressure on the linebackers from Calgary. Jenkins this way, the fake here, and Kemp out here. The pressure on the linebackers back here. Now, they have a veteran group anchored by Alondra Johnson, and watch how quick he chases down Jimmy Kemp.
Interesting, because that's the play we were talking about. Stampeders have been watching that this week.
They saw a little bit of film on that one.
Not going to be quite as easy against the team that has watched it for a week. Kemp fires to the far side. Alford again. Not quite a first down, so it'll be a kicking situation for Calgary here.
Well, the play doesn't work if Michael Jenkins doesn't make a big block. I mean, they're still going to have to punt it away. They got positive yards because Alondra Johnson was coming on the blitz and would have been right in Kemp's face. But Jenkins stepped up there and showed that he can not only run the ball, but can also do things without the ball as well.
Martino back at his 30-yard line. His second punt of the evening. Antonio Warren, the lone man, back for Calgary near his 20. Wind will favor Martino here. Warren moves up. Nice return brewing for Antonio Warren. Penalty marker down back at the 40 as Elberg made the tackle for the Argonauts. 31 on the return. Keys for success tonight look like this.
Well, defensively, I think the Argos have to get pressure with 4. I already mentioned it. Those 4 defensive linemen, they lead the league in sacks with 10 heading into week 4. They have to continue to do that. If they blitz, George Cortez will kill them. The Calgary Stampeders have to create some more turnovers. Just 3 takeaways in 4 games. They only have 1 interception after 4 weeks in the season. Turnovers can win you games. Which of these teams, John, will keep on rolling?
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch this tonight because, I mean, early in the season, 1-3. You go to 2-3 and you're right back in the middle of everything because it's awfully close in both divisions.
And the key will be those guys, Alfred Payton, Johnny Scott. They need to get pressure with just 4 guys. If you blitz against the George Cortez offense, he'll make you pay for it. And that's what happened last week versus the BC Lions.
Holding against Calgary on the return nullifies much of that 31-yard gain for Warren. So the Stamps begin at the 30. Crandall over the middle. Vince Danielson. Right on the money. Crandall to Vince Danielson. Super play. Dwayne Provo got over to make the tackle.
They will attack Dwayne Provo. He does not have a whole lot of experience at the safety position. So what they'll do in Calgary is layer receivers, one underneath to Vince Danielson, and Dwayne Provo had a deep one there. It was Travis Moore. So he was really caught in a bind. He has to stay deep as the deepest player. So that will open up the underneath guy. That time it was Vince Danielson, but look for it to be Mark Bolrichter or Travis Moore to try and isolate Dwayne Provo at the safety position.
Danielson picks up 38 yards on his 15th reception of the season. And that was a pretty play.
Well, you know, George Cortez very seldom will attack personnel when he's putting together a game plan. What he likes to do is do what his offense does well, and he'll progress that offense as the season goes on. But if he sees inexperience in one position, he's going to see if he can exploit it, and that looks like what he's doing early in this game.
Johnny Scott is the injured Argonaut, way back at the line of scrimmage, or at least in the Stampeder backfield where he went down. Eastern All-Star last year, and Scott will be sadly missed if he's not back in a hurry.
That puts more pressure on Alfred Payton, and he's going one-on-one tonight with the Big Chill. And that's Fred Childress right over there to the left of your screen. It'll be a matchup that we watch closely. Childress over there at left tackle, played guard on the right side last year, and he'll go one-on-one with the guy leading the league in sacks in Alfred Payton with 5 on the season. Nice little matchup right there for tonight's game.
Childress was the top lineman in the nation in 1998. First down, Stampeders. And Crandall flat out missed that. Mix up in communication down there between quarterback and receiver.
You know, the other thing that Alfred Payton said this week is that in his younger days, he used to take the odd play off. He wasn't in the best shape he could have been in, and well, he had tremendous talent, and he would use it. He would use it every 4th or 5th play. But tonight against Fred Childress, he's got to go every single down. He knows it. He's matured a little bit, as Alfred Payton has, and he's got to use it all tonight. Everything in his repertoire.
2nd and 10, Calgary. There's the target and the toss. Travis Moore has another reception inside the 30. He's at about the 29. A wonderful receiver who leads the CFL in catches again this season with 27 for 437 yards.
You know, the composure of Marcus Crandall, and once again, George Cortez does a nice job with the quarterback. Mentioned it already. Top-rated passer in the league. Marcus Crandall has put up big yardages, even in his losses. They've moved the football successfully. They just weren't putting in the end zone.
Well, he hasn't made critical errors even when the Stampeders were losing football games. Kelvin Anderson inside the 25. Crandall couldn't be blamed for all of what was going on the football field in the early losses. Now, he didn't start the season as the #1 guy. Ben Sankey did, then got injured in game 1.
Yeah, hurt his thumb.
And it's been Crandall ever since.
No, and it wasn't Crandall that caused the losses. I mean, this team had difficulties defensively. You know, Jack Kellogg against Edmonton had a tough evening, and he was released because of it. They had problems with
the linebacking core, too.
Yeah.
Early stages. This is 2nd down. About 8 to go, and the touchdown toss is about 5 yards too long. Marker down, however, in the Argo end zone.
Well, Travis Moore is arguing that he was held up by Vernon Mitchell, the linebacker, in what the Toronto Argonauts like to call match defense. And basically,
Toronto number 6.
For those people watching that haven't played in the secondary in professional football, which is basically all of them, Vernon Mitchell has got to take the first guy that comes to him, and that happened to be Travis Moore, and he grabbed him.
And Moore got his call, so it's a first down. Stampeders down at the 1-yard line. So on Mitchell, the penalty, and the Argonauts are in big trouble here with the Stampeders set up first down, 3 cracks at it from the 1.
And they got the big boys in there. Scott Dybert comes in. Scott Regenbald.
Kelvin Anderson untouched. Calgary touchdown. And there goes Blue, celebrating Kelvin Anderson's first touchdown this season.
Well, he's had 200-yard-plus rushing games, but that is his first touchdown, and always nice to get that off your back and get in there. Pretty good drive set up by the pass interference called to Vernon Mitchell.
But the Stampeders were driving prior to that.
Yeah, and Travis Moore, a big part of this offense so far, and really right now the Argos can't get the matchup they wanted, which is Alondo Steinow on Moore.
The Stampeder touchdown horse celebrating one more here in Calgary. It's Kelvin Anderson into the end zone, untouched from a yard away. Really somewhat hard to believe that Kelvin Anderson gets his first touchdown in game number 5, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. When you look at the Calgary Stampeders averaging just 20 points a game coming into this one after 4 weeks, a bit surprising because this has been a high-octane offense.
Yeah, the offense has moved the football in the early going this season, but the end zone has been hard to reach on an evening or two. Greg Hill as penalty markers go down near the 30 on the return.
Well, whenever a running back can go in untouched, it's usually because of a good block. Watch right here. This is big Fred Childress. Because Roger Dunbrook dives in here, Childress is allowed to get out on the linebacker, Vernon Mitchell. And watch how he seals things away, taking Vernon Mitchell right out of the play and allowing Kelvin Anderson to walk in.
Toronto number 11, first down.
If you walk into the end zone from the running back position, there's been some good blocks up front.
So Anderson following Childress into the end zone for a 7-0 Stampeder advantage, and a penalty against the Argos on the return for a holding against Marcelo Simmons means the Argos will begin back at the 15.
Argo penalty taken back at the 15 for first and 10.
4 receivers to the near side. Kemp goes the other way and looks along the sideline. There you go. What a miracle catch right at the 55.
Couple of big catches tonight for Ted Alford as he goes down the sideline. He's the only receiver on the backside, so Jimmy Kemp knows one thing as he comes this way. He knows he's got one-on-one coverage with Ted Alford and Anthony Pryor, and this is confidence in the quarterback, confidence in his receiver, because Pryor was right there. But Kemp said, you know what, I think my athlete can make a play when the ball's in the air, and that's what Ted Alford did.
Alford has all 3 receptions for the Argos tonight. That was huge. A 40-yarder as Alford stretched out and hauled it in. Kemp has Hill, and Hill has run out near the 35-yard line. So this is a good-looking drive beginning for the Argos. Greg Hill, third-string quarterback, 8 receptions for 85 yards coming into this one tonight, and he's really the 6th receiver for Toronto.
Well, right now, the Toronto Argonauts know that everyone all week have talked about Michael Jenkins and the big game that he had, and they know the Calgary defense will be geared to him, and they've been just faking it to Michael Jenkins and throwing the football early in this game.
Jenkins just 1 carry for 3 yards so far tonight. Argos are moving effectively here. There's the fake to Jenkins, and the toss to the near side for Mitchell.
Well, yeah, that was the matchup we talked about. Joe Barnes in his second game against Daryl Mitchell right at the bottom of your screen, and Joe Barnes just kind of grabs Mitchell, but he gets away with it. And that's what Jimmy Kemp was arguing about because he thought he had a penalty. Joe Barnes kind of grabbed the jersey of Daryl Mitchell, but grabbed it from the inside. He didn't get his hands outside and around, and because of that, the officials didn't see it. And if they don't see it,
they don't call it.
They don't call it, and it's no penalty.
Basically, it's not illegal if they don't see it.
It's not illegal if they don't see it. Watch out.
2nd and 10. The long toss. Mitchell is there. Argo touchdown. Daryl Mitchell. 39 yards in that play. Was a pretty thing to watch. So was the drive itself.
Calgary Stampeders coming with the blitz. They're coming from the blitz from this side. That leaves the middle of the field wide open. All Jimmy Kemp knows is that he has to just get it up in there, and he knows Daryl Mitchell, if he reads the defense properly, will be heading to that hole, and that's exactly where Mitchell was.
So it's 7-7, an impressive drive engineered by Jimmy Kemp. It began way back in Argo territory. Couple of big plays, and Kemp found Alford, and then he found Daryl Mitchell with the touchdown toss.
Well, Kemp took a bit of a hit as he delivered it, and he knew he was going to because you can't block everybody if the Calgary Stampeders are blitzing, and they come with a blitz from their secondary. So there's the hit he takes. It's Kelly Malvo coming from that extra defensive back position, and Daryl Mitchell sees, uh-oh, no safety, I'm going right to the hole. Gets around Ricky Bell with a little swim move, and then it's just a nice catch and walk into the end zone. Daryl Mitchell right now is on pace for close to 2,000 yards on the season.
Ricky Bell and Joe Barnes are getting their first look at the amazing Daryl Mitchell here tonight.
Well, it's one thing to watch a guy on tape. You're watching him on tape, you think, you know, I can handle him. I can handle him. And then he gets in the game and he blows by it and you go, whoa, I better back up.
95 yards traveled in just 4 plays. Kemp puts it in the end zone with a touchdown toss to Mitchell. Key play really was to Alford, which took a lot of heat off the Argonauts, who began way back in their own zone.
Yeah, and Daryl Mitchell took a little advantage of Ricky Bell's aggressiveness. Ricky Bell came into camp and is a hard-hitting defensive back, but sometimes you can be a little overly aggressive, and that's what caught Bell in that one.
3rd touchdown of the season for Daryl Mitchell. It's all even at Calgary. Antonio Warren had a great run earlier. This is about equal to that. He's out across the 40 to the 42. Donovan Carter got over to make the tackle for Toronto. A 40-yard return. And the first 3 catches of the night were by this guy, Ted Alford.
Yeah, coming into training camp, Ted Alford was really in a battle with Archie Amerson. Alford, sort of a true receiver, and Amerson, the guy who can do it all kind of from the receiver position and the running back position. But Alford won out because he has the capabilities of making circus catches just like that one, and that's his 2nd of the game and a key catch in that touchdown drive.
Stampeders begin this up near the 43. Kelvin Anderson for a couple. Anderson has the lone Stampeder touchdown tonight.
Well, if the Toronto defensively want to just keep on playing a lot of zone defense and really not getting the matchup with Orlando Steinauer and playing what we called that match coverage, which really don't have to get into, but basically it's a form of zone defense. And you're going to see a lot of layered patterns from Danielson, Mark Bullrichter, and Travis Moore.
2nd and 6.
Anderson picked up 4. This is 2nd and 6. And that'll be a first down. Stampeders out at the 55. Travis Moore making the catch. Final play of the opening quarter. It's all even at McMahon in Calgary. Stampeders 7, Argos 7. Here at McMahon, Jimmy Kemp has completed 5 of 8 for 1 touchdown, 133 yards. It's not as if this guy hasn't enjoyed success on CFL football fields during his career.
No, I mean, in his 8 years in the CFL and a bunch of different teams, he's had opportunities. He's 8-2 against Saskatchewan as a starter, so he's won some games. And
Marcus Crandall has had his opportunities too, and he was almost intercepted. In fact, he is picked up by Steinauer on a bit of a deflection down there. 2 Stampeder receivers in the area. It bounced around, and they say no interception now to Steinauer.
Well, Steinauer can't believe it. It looked like he kind of one-handed it. He's going to fly to the left of your screen as his hitch goes out here. Now it's tipped right there. The ball's in the air. Did it touch the ground? No.
No, he should have been credited
That is
with
an
that,
interception.
I do think. Once again, from this angle,
he caught that ball. He didn't really have control as he went down, but it never touched the ground. They're saying no interception and took it away from him.
So a break for Crandall, and the Stampeders,
Oh, I guess.
just nicely in to the 2nd quarter. Crandall with time. He's got Vince Danielson, and he'll be close to a first down after a gain of 9, maybe 9.5, somewhere in there. Here are the numbers for the opening quarter.
Yeah, pretty even, except for the time of possession. The Calgary Stampeders with a couple of drives, and Travis Moore a big part of the reason that they're winning the time of possession battle with 9 minutes and 20 seconds. But you know, this is a huge turnaround in this game, early in this game. If this interception goes the other way to the Toronto Argonauts, which, taking one more look at it, you can see the football has not touched the ground and did not touch the ground
He had his
the
right
entire
arm
time.
underneath it.
Orlando Steinauer has an interception taken away, and that is a key turning point. If the Calgary Stampeders score on this drive, we could look back to that being the play that makes a difference if they end up winning this game.
Too early to call it a turning point.
Well, I mean, that's a turnover. That's a big play.
Stamps on 3rd down will convert and have a first down. It was 3rd down, less than a yard to go.
You know, and there really wasn't any discussion with the officials. They just basically ruled it no catch, and away they went. Pinball Clemens didn't argue, but he was on the opposite side of the field, so I'm not sure that he had the best angle to see it. Orlando Steinauer was in there complaining. He knew he had caught that football. Not only is it a key turnover, it takes away a stat. Defensive backs hate that.
Yeah, because that would have been interception number 2 for Steinauer. Here's the pitch to Kelvin Anderson, right side. Anderson puts his head down, and he's out in first down territory. Vernon Mitchell made the stop.
This is the formation, John, the Calgary Stampeders used very effectively last week to stop the blitz of the BC Lions, and they put a little bit of it in here. Now look at this. These are all receivers at the line of scrimmage that are close to the quarterback to help block, and then they give it to Calvin Anderson. So it just brings some more blocking help in close to that line of scrimmage, and it creates a little seam for Calvin Anderson. They implemented it last week. It was successful. You keep it in the playbook.
Gain for Anderson a little better than 7 yards. This is second down. Nice play action fake by Crandall. He takes off. He'll have the first down. Marcus Crandall out inside the Argonaut 30 at about the 28. Calvin Tiggle gave chase.
John, there have been 300-yard-plus games for the Calgary Stampeders from running backs. 2 from Calvin Anderson and 1 from quarterback Marcus Crandall. That was against the Edmonton Eskimos when he had 102 yards rushing. Obviously has the ability to get out and run if he has to.
Marcus Crandall completing 70.7% of his passes so far this season.
Back to that bunch formation.
And back to Kelvin Anderson on first down and 10. Michael O'Shea made the tackle.
Well, you're going for the hat trick, aren't you?
I'm off to Vancouver tomorrow. I can't believe you, half-miler. You're not going to show up.
Matt Dunnigan will be your partner for that one.
And that'll be fun.
Yeah, BC Lions need to bounce back. They're playing a tough opponent.
And they're not playing very well right now.
No, they're not, especially offensively.
The Alouettes are playing extremely well, so Dunnigan goes back to Vancouver, the scene of his previous triumphs as a quarterback.
Well, you know, when he was with me in Edmonton, he was the mayor in that city, but I guess he's the mayor in a few cities.
Here's Crandall, and another first down for the Stampeders. Vince Danielson having a nice night.
You need patience at the quarterback position to play against a lot of zone defense. And watch the linebackers. See Calvin Tiggle just drop to an area, number 73. Everyone in that secondary, the Argos doing exactly the same thing. And the quarterback at that point has to have patience. And Vince Danielson is a guy who can find the holes in the zone as he moves up the all-time catches list for the Calgary Stampeders.
He needed 7 tonight to move into a tie with Herm Harrison, the great tight end of the Stampeders in the 70s. Crandall to the end zone. He's got Kelvin Anderson. Touchdown number 2 for Anderson tonight. Boy, that was a pretty play as well.
Coming right at you.
Here's Blue.
Get out of the way. Whoa, that was close. Almost run over from Blue. Perfect matchup for the Calgary offensively because Calvin Tiggle is the guy that's going to get matched up because of the motion from Kelvin Anderson. And Kelvin Anderson just runs it out and up, and it's a tough job for Calvin Tiggle to have to run with Kelvin Anderson.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a mismatch when you get that happening there.
Well, it was done by formation. Scott Regenbald left early. Michael O'Shea took him.
Stampeders open a 7-point lead on the Argonauts once again. An exciting evening here already. Big plays, nice touchdowns. Kelvin Anderson has both of them for Calgary. Here's how it looks so easy.
Well, Scott Regenbald right here goes in motion like this. This is Michael O'Shea. He goes with them. That tells Marcus Crandall one thing. It's man-to-man, and the linebackers are in charge of covering my backs. So I'll just let Kelvin Anderson sneak out of the backfield, run the wheel. I know that Kelvin Tiggle has to cover him, and that's the matchup I want.
This is Michael Jenkins returning for the Argos after the touchdown by Kelvin Anderson.
But hey, you said it wasn't an early turning point, John, but I'm telling you, an interception by Alondo Steinauer that wasn't called an interception, and the Calgary Stampeders score on the drive. Here's that play again. The ball's in the air, it never touches the ground. That is an interception by Alondo Steinauer that was called as an incompletion. Calgary Stampeders put 7 on the board after that. I think it may be a turning point.
Well,
a big one.
I just said it was too early to call it a turning point. It might well be that. Michael Jenkins, only a couple there for Jenkins, who ran so well last week for 127 yards. He ran into James Cotton this time, number 99 for Calgary. Jenkins picked up 5.
You know, there's the Mike Pringles, Ron Williams in the league that are 1 and 2 respectively in the rushing title, but offensively the Toronto Argonauts actually lead the league in gain per rush at close to 7, and that's because of Michael Jenkins.
4 receivers to the near side for Kemp. He's getting some heat. Got it away. It'll be a Toronto first down out near the 40.
Guess who? Ted Alford again.
Alford has been the most prominent receiver in the Argo offense so far tonight.
You know, and if you have Daryl Mitchell on your team and you're one of the other receivers, you got to feel confident that you're going to get a lot of one-on-one coverage. You got to get fired up each and every game, because you know Daryl Mitchell gets double covered. That means they've got to leave just one on you. And receivers, no matter who they are, believe in one-on-one, it's their advantage. They can win that battle.
This is Alford's 4th game this season. He's out to the far side. Kemp looking in his direction and had to fire that one out of bounds. There's a marker down. Another penalty flag here at McMahon. 8:57 unofficially till halftime, with the Stampeders on top by a touchdown, 14-7.
Good choice by Jimmy Kemp. He didn't have an open receiver, so he tossed it into row 2.
Legal contact on a receiver. Calgary, number 3, first down.
That's why he didn't have an open receiver.
Kelly Malvo playing his first game for the Stampeders. Had a couple of cups of coffee with the Rough Riders.
Yeah, well, Kelly Lockbaum was listed as a starter in the linebacking core, but Kelly Malvo is going to play a ton tonight. And that's because if the Argos go with 5 or 6 receivers, they put the defensive back in Kelly Malvo in the game. If they go with 2 backs, which the Argos don't run a whole lot of, we'll see Kelly Lockbaum.
1st and 10, Toronto at the Argo 49. Kemp with time into heavy coverage near midfield, and the catch is made by Alfonso Browning.
Jimmy Kemp using all his receivers now. He had Daryl Mitchell involved when the Calgary Stampeders decided to blitz him. That was for the touchdown. We've talked about Ted Alford. Now going to the opposite side and Alfonso Browning. And, you know, when you keep the defensive secondary guessing as to which direction you're throwing and which side of the field you're throwing, it makes it that much more difficult.
Kemp did do a good job of spreading it around last week at Taylor Field. Browning got 6 for 63 yards. Jenkins. And there's nowhere to go that time, as Jacobs is there celebrating number 84.
You get the feeling that this defensive line in Calgary have been fired up for Michael Jenkins all game long, and this was really their first opportunity to go after him. Ray Jacobs, number 84, takes on the lead block and is right there on Michael Jenkins.
That forces the Argos into a 3rd down kicking situation as Martino moves in. Antonio Warren drops deep for the Stampeders, just inside his 10.
Antonio Warren is deep for Calgary, number 6.
Now Martino's into the win.
Not as deep as a result. Warren away from 1. He's had a couple of nice returns tonight, and he's dropped in his tracks at the 22. Antonio Warren is down, but the Stampeders are 1st and 10 when we return to Wendy's Friday Night Football. Many of Canada's top junior prospects for the World Championship coming up in December here in Calgary tonight. They're in the stands here, and here's Sherry Hargrave on the sideline.
I'm with Stan Butler, the head coach of the Canadian National Junior Hockey Team. Now, you're in the middle of a 10-day developmental camp here with 44 of Canada's best young hockey players. How's this team shaping up?
Well, we're really pleased with what we've seen so far. We've been here 3 days, and we really like the skill level of the players, and we feel really good about our team right now.
Tell me, all of them sitting up in the stands, are they enjoying the game?
Yeah, it's pretty neat because they're all from different parts of the country, and obviously there's a lot of Eastern players here cheering for Toronto, and a lot of players from the West cheering for Calgary, so it makes for a lot of fun for the players.
Well, good luck, Coach, in the Czech Republic over Christmas time.
Thank you very much, Sherry.
Well, we got a bronze medal last time. We're going for gold this time.
Well, last
Sam.
couple of times I think it's been the bronze, and good, but not good enough. Come on, we need the gold, boys.
Now there are the boys.
Yeah,
They make them big, don't they?
they are. I was thinking there could be a couple football players in that group.
Those hockey players seem to get taller by the year. Of course, we'll have it for you over the Christmas week from the Czech Republic. Travis Moore doesn't drop many. Couldn't hang on to that one.
Looked like Marcus Crandall was rushed a little bit when he went to throw the football, and because of that, the ball was a bit behind Travis Moore. He couldn't put the brakes on and come back. Crandall just in the shotgun formation. Johnny Scott back in the game. He's coming right up in his face, and you see how he had to kind of rush the gun. He gets it in behind Travis Moore, and Moore usually makes that catch.
That's my point.
But he did have to come back. Boy, talk about drops. How about last night for the Hamilton Tiger Cats? You think that was a tough day at film
I don't
for a
think
couple
I would have
receivers?
liked to have been in that film room. High snap goes to O'Mani. He gets it away. Pretty nice kick with the win. Adrian Smith. Ring had him in his sights. Lawrence Deck over to make the tackle, number 36. Kelly Lockbaum, number 33. Watch him run down on punt cover here. Woo! In 98 and again in 2000 is really the key to the Stampeders.
Well, yeah, the Calgary Stampeders have struggled a bit on defense, but not because of the play of Joe Fleming. 4 sacks on the year, won every single game he's played in, and tonight he will move around a little bit in that defensive line to try and free him up.
Michael Jenkins on first down, Toronto.
John, there's actually a couple of plays in the defensive playbook to have Joe Fleming have the option as to where he wants to line up based on the formation he sees. So if the play comes in from the sideline, he can say, okay, I want to line up here and get this matchup.
Yeah, now when we asked him who he might choose tonight, he
Yeah.
chose not to respond.
Yeah, he didn't want to tell us that. But
So who are you going to line up against then if it's your choice?
well, I think you try and find the running back matchup and see if they're going to try and block you with a running back.
Second down, Kemp. And Greg Hill, he couldn't make the catch.
This time it was Sandy Annunziata that Joe Fleming was matched up against, but he got a little help from the center too. Watch Fleming, number 76 right here. Takes the rush upfield, hits Annunziata, slides to the middle where Chad Folk is going to help him. Usually Joe Fleming draws the double team. This will be a matchup that we'll watch throughout this game. If Annunziata is getting help from Chad Folk on every play, then Fleming will move to the outside and have a little bit of option as to where he can line up so that he can be freed to go after that quarterback.
Tony Martino into the breeze. Antonio Warren on the return, and another penalty marker down on this return. 2 on the return, 40 on the punt. Orlando Bowen, a backup linebacker for the Argonauts.
Get a lot of special team work.
And he was in the middle of no yards and a roughing call against the Argos on that kick return, or at least the punt return. So all of a sudden the Stampeders are out near the 50-yard line with a first down instead of back near the 20, a total of 30 yards.
Wow. Argo's pretty good in the penalty department this year.
Kelvin Anderson wrapped up.
Now they're getting Steinauer matched up on Travis Moore. You know, they've been trying to move Travis Moore around to sort of avoid that matchup and force the Argos to play more zone coverage. But this time, it is a one-on-one. There's Travis Moore, and here comes Alonzo Steinauer not far behind. Limiting the gain. 2 veterans going at it. Moore's had a pretty good first half so far. Steinauer, though, has an interception that he didn't have count.
Well, yeah, it didn't count.
Didn't count. Didn't have it. Didn't count. Yeah, something like that.
Crandall on second down and 5. Danielson, big night for Vince. He's inside the 40 and stopped by Vernon Mitchell. This has been an interesting matchup. Linebacker Vernon Mitchell against Vince Danielson.
Well, you know, if the linebacker is tackling the receivers, that's a zone coverage because the linebackers are dropping to an area and they get matched up. And that's really where Vince Danielson excels. Where Travis Moore will like the one-on-one matchups, Vince Danielson will like to find the open areas in zone defense. And that's why the Calgary Stampeders receiving core is so potent. They have different options to go to.
15 yards for Danielson. Stamps keep it on the ground with Kelvin Anderson.
Of course, that's an option too. Kelvin Anderson on the ground.
Orlando Steinar.
But that's really what you have. I mean, when you have Vince Danielson, he can find holes in the zone. He'll be more of a possession guy. Mark Bo-Richter, he likes the one-on-one matchups with great size, as does Travis Moore. And then Aubrey Cummings is more of a zone guy. It's a tremendous balance in the receiving core. And you know, for the last 10 years, the Calgary Stampeders have really had that.
Talking about Bo-Richter, he has not been a target so far tonight of Marcus Crandall. Another 2nd and 5 situation, early movement, and a flag down there.
Time count violation, Calgary number 1.
All the plays coming from the sideline from George Cortez. It takes a while to get them out there onto the field. They have to get the right personnel on the field. And then if Marcus Crandall wants to change the play, he has to take that much more time, and that time it was too much. There is a whole bunch of plays written right on that piece of paper for George Cortez.
We could freeze that and blow it up and figure out a few things. Timeout with 3 minutes to go till halftime. It's the Stampeders on top, in control of the football on Wendy's Friday Night Football. McMahon Stadium. At the half coming up, about 2 minutes, 58 seconds away with the boys.
That group packs them in too.
Here's the long toss on 2nd and 11. Moore can't make the catch, but there are flags everywhere.
Again, it's that match kind of coverage that the Argos are trying to employ here, and it gets Vernon Mitchell, the linebacker, in a one-on-one with Travis Moore because Travis Moore is the first inside receiver that shows to the linebacker.
Pass interference. Toronto number 6. First down.
Tough first half for Vernon Mitchell.
Well, you know, there they are right here, and Vernon Mitchell is running pretty close to Travis Moore, but he gets his hands up and he doesn't look back to the football, so he gets that pass interference or screening call, and that puts the ball right down there. Second pass interference in the game for Mitchell.
And it's the second time that the Stampeders have been set up at the 1-yard line.
100 yards and penalties.
3 cracks at it from here. Touchdown, Calgary. Scott Diebert into the end zone, his first of the year. Kelvin Anderson had one earlier, so big-time celebration. Darren Drake on My Horse Blue.
Hey, there you go again, your horse Blue. You rode that horse one time, and the horse didn't like it, I guarantee you. This play here offensively gives the offense for Calgary 3 options. Crandall can run, he can give it to Diebert, or he can pitch it out on the outside to Kelvin Anderson. This time the option goes to Diebert, and he gets it in.
McLaughlin with a point after, and it's a 2-touchdown lead for the Stampeders. Great place to enjoy a football game. McMahon Stadium on a perfect evening. Around 30 degrees as we began, and here is the Stampeders' latest touchdown.
Takes off that way. There's option number 1. He takes that option, gives him the ball. And the one that set that up was the second pass interference call to Vernon Mitchell on Travis Moore right down the seam. In pretty good position, but watch, Vernon Mitchell doesn't look back to the football till after it hits him in the back.
Both pass interference calls on tosses for Travis, and both setting Calgary up at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, he doesn't get the yards and the stats for those. You know, he should get at least half, because it puts you down on the goal line. It really is the assist to the touchdown.
Well, it's the assist.
Well, we got the hockey players here, so they know what that's all about.
They don't count assists in football, do they? Every once in a while, players share a quarterback sack.
Yeah, if the quarterback slips, it's a race to see who gets the freebie. Calgary off to the start they wanted. You know, I go back again to the Orlando Steinauer interception that wasn't.
You may make me say it before it's over. That may just have to be the TSN turning point. Out across the 40 to the 42. Daryl Mitchell returning that one.
Your horse blew.
Well, yeah, there I am.
There's the award ceremony. I had Tuffy. Yeah! Hey, you can ride, buddy. What people don't see is right after that, you got thrown off, Blue. I had to come over there and help you up. You rode the rest of the way on Tuffy with me.
That was at the Chrysler Awards last year at the Grey Cup. And that was a fun evening, and also it was a lot of fun hanging around with the Cowboys, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were pretending. We didn't fool many, though. Wannabe Cowboys.
Jimmy Kent, there's the option we talked about. Well read by the Stampeders defensively this time.
Yeah, it was James Cotton and Willie Fells, and the reason they played it so well is they got themselves up the field about 3 or 4 yards. When they did that, it just made the play flatten out too much to the sideline. James Cotton got penetration closer to the line of scrimmage, and Fells got to the outside and pushed it up. Cotton has been a nice find for this team. 1 sack so far coming into this game.
He is a force. Here's Kemp. Shillingford made the catch, and he should have the first down. They fire him back after that. Grayson Shillingford, 6 for 59 on the season prior to that. 1 catch last week.
Willie Fells, really a good addition to this Calgary linebacking core. Kevin Johnson was cut after week 3 and 3 losses for Calgary. He was making mental mistakes on the field. Willie Fells has not done that since he's arrived.
Jimmy Kent, first down, throws it long for Browning. And now Browning was bumped from behind, but there are no flags down there. Mostly Browning slowed down a little bit, and the cover guy bumped into him. That was Barnes.
Yeah, Joe Barnes down the sideline. There could have been a little bit of interference there. Barnes lets him go and then kind of runs into him, but
it was
no interference there. That ball was thrown over the wrong shoulder because Jimmy Kemp was rushed a little bit instead of throwing that right down the middle where he wanted to, and that was the direction that Alfonso Browning was running. Went over the wrong shoulder and he couldn't adjust.
Stamps with pressure on Kemp again. So now the Argos with 2:13 till halftime. Look at 2nd and 10. Fake the run and then fired here. Jenkins races to the end zone. Touchdown, Toronto.
Little improvisation from Jimmy Kemp. And this is where his mobility pays off in a big way for the Toronto Argonauts because he steps up in the pocket and buys himself time. He's going to drop back and step up in here. Watch how he buys himself a few more seconds. Joe Fleming runs just by him. That buys himself some time. With great composure, he finds Jenkins, and he does the rest.
And James Cotton was right there. Kemp does a nice job to avoid his rush. Watch this.
Throws back into the middle, and then Jenkins, I love the way he attacks the tackler right here, goes at him, pushes off him, and then goes up into the end zone. That was, I believe, William Fields, the
number
corner.
29. So that's 5 touchdowns in 2 games for number 27. Argos right back in this one, trailing by 7, and still time to go in the opening half. A 55-yard catch and run play from Kemp to Jenkins.
Well, you mentioned the 5 touchdowns in 2 games, 4 last week versus Saskatchewan, 3 along the ground, but the 4th one was a shovel pass, which is basically a glorified running play anyway. So you could almost say he had 4 rushing. Now Jenkins is going to step up. He sees that no one's there to take him. He's right here. Alonzo Johnson's in coverage, but when Kemp buys time, this is where he'll work to the open area. Kemp buys a little time. Alonzo Johnson feels like he's got to go and rush and help to stop Kemp. That opens up Michael Jenkins, and then Jenkins attacks William Fields and then stiff arms him. Gets it. That's the old-fashioned stiff arm right there. Dick Butkus made that. Well, Dick Butkus was trying to tackle people. It was the other guy, the running back.
Yeah, it wasn't Butkus.
No, it was the running back. Jim Brown. Jim Brown, I was thinking of, yeah.
Just a little before your time,
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to say.
Well, that was the NFL version. George Reed made that popular in the CFL. I'll get it right.
Argo kickoff coming down out of bounds near the 20, so the Stampeders will come out with very good field position here. Toronto Sun, #1 in sports. Argo fans, join the Sun at the next Argo home game. For tickets, call 416-489-ARGO, A-R-G-O. Toronto Sun, you live sports, and so do we. You'll have to wait a while because the Argos are on the road for 2 more weeks.
That's the way they like it.
Winnipeg next Friday. Are you coming to that one, or are you still on holidays?
No, I'll be there for that one.
And then after that, we're off to Montreal for the first time this season.
Yeah, I haven't covered the Montreal Alouettes and won't get a chance to tomorrow night. You will be there. A chance to see Mike Pringle. Boy, is he off to another great start.
But I'm talking about going to Montreal.
Yeah.
Right?
And you love to do a game there.
Yeah. We'll meet George the Furrier, and he'll bring fries up to the booth for us.
That's right. Well, it'll be another sellout in Montreal, guarantee to that.
Bombers have a lead, 32-14 on Saskatchewan late in the 4th quarter.
Saskatchewan, troubles in Taylor Field, and then they go on the road, and they're also struggling. They gave up 50 a week ago to the Argos.
Bombers have scored 31 unanswered points in that one. Out across the 40 to the 42 on the return by Kelvin Anderson, and that's where the Stampeders will start with lots of time to go in the opening half.
Well, this is their 6th possessions, the Calgary Stampeders, and I'm going to show you the difference. See the first 2, punt. Okay, that's not good, but look where they started. 20 and 19. See, when they start deeper, 30 and 43, it results in touchdown. Start on your 50, touchdown. Start on your 20, punt. See, you see the difference there? Field position, very, very important.
George Cortez has worked with many of the best quarterbacks in this league, hasn't he? And he's turning Crandall into a very proficient player without question.
You know, and Crandall, for the most part tonight, has had time to throw the ball, and when he's faced zone defense, he's gone to Vince Danielson. When he's faced man-to-man, he's gone to Travis Moore. Pretty simple game when you break it down like that. And again, you see, Vince Danielson's not running fast. He's just looking to find a little hole in that defense, because in a zone, all the guys have got to drop to a certain area. You find the area they're not in.
5th catch for Danielson. Another 6 yards. This is 2nd and 4. And Crandall had nowhere to hide that time as Tiggle was coming. So he's wrapped up there, and the Stampeders quickly kick it away, leaving some time for the Argonauts.
Yeah, O'Shea came, Tiggle came. They just decided, they said, here, let's just send everybody and see if we can't disrupt them. Get them off their throwing rhythm, and Calvin Tiggle not blocked straight through the line of scrimmage. But Marcus Crandall didn't have any running backs to block for him. So nice call out by Kavis Reed, the defensive coordinator for now for the Toronto Argonauts.
Rich Stubler is in Toronto watching this game tonight, and he'll officially take up his duties sometime this week as the Argonauts defensive coordinator after the Arena League season is over.
Of course, Rich Stubler, who's in Toronto watching this one on TV, and Kavis Reed work together in Edmonton. So Kavis Reed is just an extension of Rich Stubler so far as the coordinator.
O'Mani standing at the Stampeder 30 to get this third down kick away. The charge was on. He got it away. It's a beauty. Down to the 20. Adrian Smith is wrapped up, stopped in his tracks, but there's a marker down. And another one after that.
You know, Adrian Smith's not getting a lot of return yards because the Argos are electing to go with all-out rushes against the punter. And when you got a young punter in Duncan O'Mani, why not give it a try? They've been pretty close a couple of times. Don't be surprised if they maybe get a chance at one. A lot of people coming through the gaps from this side of the field, and watch Duncan O'Mani have to kind of rush it. They overload one side, and they're getting awfully close. Of course, that leaves Adrian Smith by himself back there to return.
Elberg was in with a chance there. Smith on the return, and that's where the penalty happened.
Major foul, clipping, Toronto, number 9. Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Toronto, number 3. First down.
Coming into this game, the Toronto Argonauts were first in the league in number of penalties. They only had 40. Every other team had more than that. So they were doing a pretty good job in the penalty department, but tonight they've been hammered with penalties, and it should all equal out now.
Argos put 50 points on the board in Saskatchewan last week. Beginning at the 5. Here's Kemp from his own end zone. Pressure is on. Nice move to sidestep it. And he's got a completion to Shillingford. Grayson Shillingford. Talking to Mike Roach prior to the game, and he was obviously spending a lot of time watching this Argonaut offense. And saying, you know, if you put 50 points on the scoreboard, it doesn't matter what team you're playing well. It doesn't matter how the other guys are going. To put 50 up, you have to have a pretty nice night, and that's what the Argos did have. Here's Kemp. Puts his head down and runs for about 7 yards.
Well, and the key to it has been Jimmy Kemp. I really believe that, and he's using his legs. He's buying himself time. You see how he uses his legs on this play to get to the outside, and he has Michael Jenkins, but rather than risk the little throw, Michael Jenkins would have got about the same amount of yardage right there, number 27. He says, I'll just keep it, take one element out of this one, and run for 7. But he just buys himself enough time. Not really a sprinter, not a fast guy, but he can move around in that pocket.
Kemp got on 9 of 14 for 221 yards thus far. Looking at 2nd and 5 after his run. Make it 2nd and 4 behind Greg Hill. And the flag is down. What's interesting about Kemp's accomplishments tonight, he's been averaging 24.6 yards per completion. That's pretty nice.
Man.
A couple of big ones, obviously. But
yeah, Daryl Mitchell, Ted Alford's called a couple of big
Illegal
ones.
contact. Calgary 37. First down.
It's Anthony Pryor.
Anthony Pryor had moved to the inside. Anthony Pryor lines up at corner. But a little change motion. In other words, the wide receiver for the Argos moves to the inside slot back moves back to the outside. That's called change motion. They're just changing positions. Pryor goes inside and gets the illegal contact. He is not used to playing in there. He's used to playing out on the corner.
First down, Toronto. Kemp, shotgun. A little spin move has Jenkins. And Pryor moves up to put the finishing touches on him, number 37. Kemp in the hurry up.
Well, Kemp had his choice. He had 2 screens set up, one to Michael Jenkins, the one he threw, and the other side he had it to Daryl Mitchell. They'll likely come back to that because I thought Mitchell was pretty much wide open. Michael Jenkins drew a little coverage. Not running the ball quite as much in this game as he did a week ago versus Saskatchewan, but he's doing it through the air.
Second down.
Here they come.
He won't get it away this time. Wrapped up by James Cotton.
Well, James,
second sack of the season for Cotton.
All-out blitz from the Calgary Stampeders. The linebackers are up in the line of scrimmage. They really didn't disguise it a whole lot, and it was just a matter of can you block them all. Here's Alondra Johnson, here's Willie Fells, and here's James Cotton. And watch how they all decide to just come on the blitz. And there's just one too many to block. Cotton gets the stat.
Yeah, Alondra Johnson was there as well, but Cotton gets credit. Second sack for the Stamps against 1 for the Argonauts.
The last time Calgary tried that, Jimmy Kemp hit Daryl Mitchell for a touchdown. This time they get home.
Martino got a little pressure to get that one away from Fleming. On the return, it's Austin. Deshaun Austin, number 31. Up to the stadium at BC Place, we'll see the Alouettes and the Lions. 10:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Pacific. 32,605 here tonight. See, Ron Rook handed me this note, but he didn't put the comma in.
Oh, okay.
So it's
well,
32,605.
I could see how that. I could see how that would throw you.
Well, not being a math major. Anyway, it's the 12th consecutive 30-plus night, and the Argonauts come back with a sack of their own.
Well, he may be not talking quite as much, but he's still got that same sack dance. He comes off the top of your screen right here, and he's unblocked. Kelvin Anderson worried about the inside pressure from Michael O'Shea. Can't reach out there to get him, and Peyton, with his quickness right off the edge, doesn't give Crandall a time to throw the football. So both defenses come with a little blitz pressure.
Back-to-back sacks.
Here they come again.
Crandall stands in and throws deep. He's got a man open, but he's well overthrown. There's another penalty marker down at the 50. So, 12th consecutive crowd over 30,000 here.
How many was it? 32,000?
2,605.
As opposed to 3,206.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is a nice job the Calgary Stampeders have done. It's always fun to do a ball game here
Offside.
at McMahon Stadium.
Calgary number 3. That penalty's declined. It's 3rd down.
Well, maybe one play to go, and it's halftime.
And it looks like Calgary will just leave the offense on the field and just get in at halftime with a nice 21-14 lead. I would say considering themselves a little bit lucky after that interception by Alonda Steinauer that did not count. But they have moved the ball offensively, and you got to give them credit for that.
You have to give the Argos credit as well for bouncing back with a touchdown following that. And they were down by 14, now only down by 7. As both teams head to the dressing room at halftime, I thought it was pretty entertaining.
Absolutely, some big plays from both offenses, and that was one of them. Jimmy Kemp. Kelvin Anderson scores.
First touchdown of the year. And Blue celebrated that touchdown, and then Mitchell into the end zone the other way. I thought Jimmy Kemp played very well in the first half.
Sure did. Didn't have a whole lot of very good field position, but he did play well. Keeps his team in it. Marcus Crandall also playing well. Two quarterbacks always been considered backups in their career. Are really shining this season.
Kemp is down by a touchdown as we get set to start the second half here at McMahon. And here's Sherry Hargrave.
Okay, Coach, clearly you look like you were robbed there, an interception by Steinauer.
You know, it's been a little frustrating. Calgary's done a great job, first of all, of coming out and staying on the football field. Their offense has controlled the ball, has kept our offense off the field. But we have to, when you have those things go against you, it's really tough, especially on the road. But we can't complain about it. We got to go make a difference.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Well, can he make a difference against Buono's Calgary Stampeders? Second half, it's only a 7-point difference.
Well, and they are moving the ball offensively when you're talking about Toronto. Wally Buono very happy with the way his team is playing. He said halftime, obviously, he'd like to see the defenses play a little bit better in this half. Both teams offensively moving the football successfully. Travis Moore is having a big night, not just catching the ball, but drawing the penalties. Drawing a couple penalties. And
that set up 2 touchdowns, penalties called against Travis Moore, called on coverage on Travis Moore.
And I guarantee you that that's one thing that Pinball Clemens addressed at halftime was the penalties. Over 100 yards in penalties in the first half against the Argos, and that's just too many.
Michael Jenkins drops back to the 10-yard line as the primary returner for the Argonauts here on the Mark McLaughlin kickoff. Second half is underway. Michael Jenkins at the 20. Nice cut. He's across the 30. Good break there. And he's out to the 40-yard line. So the Argos will start in decent field position. Kelly Lockbaum leading the tacklers there.
When you look at the numbers for both quarterbacks, Jimmy Kemp, a couple of big plays. One of those touchdowns to Daryl Mitchell and has close to 300 already. And then Marcus Crandall, not quite the same size numbers, but he's got the drives together. He's putting together long drives and couple touchdowns to Kelvin Anderson, one on the ground and one through the air.
And 2 one-yard touchdowns set up at the end of those drives because of a penalty. So Kemp gets his hands on the ball first here to begin the second half. First and 10, Toronto. 42-yard line. Kemp shotgun. As Jenkins swinging out of the backfield, and Michael Jenkins has room to run. A good move to get around Frères, and Jenkins is down to the Stampeder 42.
A mistake at the line of scrimmage by one of the linebackers from the Calgary Stampeders. Tough to say exactly which one. Alondra Johnson was the guy who gave chase, but the linebackers are all up in here, and one of them has got to take Michael Jenkins out of the backfield. They don't. Johnson comes up on the blitz. No one is out there covering Jenkins. There's absolutely no one on him, and then he just picks up the yardage afterwards with a pretty nice move in the open field. But that's tough to cover and tackle Michael Jenkins with all that room around you.
Jenkins matches his number with a 27-yard gain. And the Argos in good shape here. Kemp throwing back against the grain. Almost picked off by Anthony Pryor.
Well, I think the play is made up on the line of scrimmage because Jimmy Kemp is rushed to throw the football, and it was one he really shouldn't have thrown. He was going to take a sack. Ray Jacobs up at the top of your screen. He gets in there along with Alondra Johnson, and that rushes the throw from Jimmy Kemp. It's behind the target, Ted Alford, and Anthony Pryor has the best crack at it. He just can't hang on to the football. That'll be 10 push-ups for Pryor.
Argos 2nd and 10. Stampeder 41. Kemp with a little more time this time.
Oh, Pryor had another chance.
Alford was the target. English also in the area.
Well, Calgary Stampeders defensively coming with a little more pressure this time, and that will make Michael Jenkins a blocker, not a pass receiver or a runner. He steps up and he has to try and block Alondra Johnson, who throws him away like he's a bad habit. And gets up in there in the quarterback's face, and Jimmy Kemp. Michael Jenkins will go back and regroup, and he is a good blocker when he's asked to do that.
Jacob Marini, 5 of 7 on the season. His longest 37. And this will be spotted by Kemp at the 48. Does Marini have enough? It's wide. And the Stampeders will give up a single point on a wide field goal try by the Argonauts. So Marini a little upset with himself. The Argos creep 1 point closer, but 3 would have been a lot nicer on that scoreboard. Interesting first half. Kelvin Anderson had his first 2 touchdowns of the season.
Kelvin Anderson shows his versatility in the first half. His first touchdown along the ground, good blocking by Fred Childress, and the second one through the air when he gets the one-on-one matchup with Calvin Tiggle.
Wide open.
And beats him by 3-4 yards.
Stampeders beginning at the 40. Kelvin Anderson out near the 50-yard line, and Steinauer over to make the tackle there.
Well, hey, that was a tough tackle by Alondo Steinauer. He rolled to the middle. He's usually the halfback, but he came to the middle in the safety position, comes up, and there's a lot of field around a guy who makes people miss for a living in Kelvin Anderson. Steinauer somehow gets him on the ground.
Anderson makes 9. It'll be 2nd and 1.
When you come up from the safety position, all you're thinking is you don't have to make the big hit, just get him down somehow.
Crandall looking for the first down, and initially he might not have made it, but second effort should be enough.
Someone's hurt at the bottom of that pile. Michael O'Shea was waving to the training staff to have them come out quickly. It's tough to tell from that spot who it is. It may be Johnny Scott.
And he was shaken up earlier in the game.
Well, earlier it looked like he was kind of moving his neck, and now he looks like he's reaching for that leg or left knee. Great surge from Calgary's offensive line, and also from the that's a big surge in there, and you can see the ankle of Johnny Scott right there. He grabs that left ankle right away.
Early in the third quarter at McMahon in Calgary, the Stampeders have the lead 21-15.
Johnny Scott, crucial to this offense. Watch Johnny Scott step up in there. He turns his body sideways and the ankle twists right over underneath that pile.
Injury timeout at McMahon in Calgary on a perfect night for Wendy's Friday Night Football. Interesting first half. Kelvin Anderson had his first 2 touchdowns of the season.
Kelvin Anderson shows his versatility in the first half. His first touchdown along the ground, good blocking by Fred Childress, and the second one through the air when he gets the one-on-one matchup with Calvin Tiggle.
Wide open.
And beats him by 3-4 yards.
Stampeders beginning at the 40. Calvin Anderson out near the 50-yard line, and Steinauer over to make the tackle there.
Well, hey, that was a tough tackle by Alondo Steinauer. He rolled to the middle. He's usually the halfback, but he came to the middle in the safety position, comes up, and there's a lot of field around a guy who makes people miss for a living in Calvin Anderson. Steinauer somehow gets him on the ground.
Anderson makes 9. It'll be 2nd and 1.
When you come up from the safety position, all you're thinking is you don't have to make the big hit, just get him down somehow.
Crandall looking for the first down, and initially he might not have made it, but second effort should be enough.
Someone's hurt at the bottom of that pile. Michael O'Shea was waving to the training staff to have them come out quickly. It's tough to tell from that spot who it is. It may be Johnny Scott.
And he was shaken up earlier in the game.
Well, earlier it looked like he was kind of moving his neck, and now he looks like he's reaching for that leg or left knee. Great surge from Calgary's offensive line, and also from the that's a big surge in there, and you can see the ankle of Johnny Scott right there. He grabs that left ankle right away.
Early in the third quarter at McMahon in Calgary, the Stampeders have the lead 21-15.
Johnny Scott, crucial to this offense. Watch Johnny Scott step up in there. He turns his body sideways and the ankle twists right over underneath that pile.
Injury timeout at McMahon in Calgary on a perfect night for Wendy's Friday Night Football. Obvious concern on the face of Argonaut head coach Mike Pinball Clemens. A very serious injury to his outstanding defensive lineman and Eastern All-Star Johnny Scott on the previous play. So Scott needs the John Deere to get off the field here.
Well, take a look at this, and if
you're squeamish, maybe
turn
not
away
too closely.
That left ankle underneath gets twisted away. An ankle is not supposed to bend, and that's guaranteed. Johnny Scott is gone for this game, hopefully not for too long. Well, that was the entire weight of the pile from the Calgary Stampeders right on that left ankle. And the ankle is such a painful injury. It really is. I mean, there's not many more that are more painful than the ankle.
Stampeders did get the first down on the play. Crandall had barely enough of the shotgun. It's Kelvin Anderson taking the handoff from Marcus Crandall. He's across midfield.
Joe Jackson of San Diego State will replace Johnny Scott. Gets a chance to play, number 95, and he'll play outside a little bit. Scott usually an interior player in the defensive line, so they'll probably move Roger Dunbrook inside. Get a little help from Michael Dupuis as well. You see number 70, who usually plays the end. Now he's lined up inside there with Devon Gibson.
2nd and 6 Stampeders. Crandall is intercepted. Abraham has the interception. Clifford Abraham.
Well,
maybe
this
that's
one,
the even up interception.
This one will count. There's no question about this interception by Clifton Abraham, who's moved out from the corner position. He's out there on that island now, and that's been 2 weeks in a row. He's played pretty well. Had a good game last week versus Saskatchewan, and he steps in front of this one, intended for Travis Moore. And there will be no indecision on the officials' part from that one.
2nd interception of the season for Clifton Abraham. And the Argos, the chance here to get a little bit closer to the Stampeders, trailing 21-15, begin at the 50-yard line. Michael Jenkins, better than 5. He'll have 6 yards.
Yeah, and this, we talked about how you can beat a zone and how Calgary's been using Vince Danielson to find the holes in the zone. This is the benefit defensively of playing zone. All the defensive backs in zone coverage face the quarterback. In other words, when that ball's in the air, they have the opportunity to break on it and make plays like Clifton Abraham made. When you're man-to-man, all you're doing is looking at your man. When you're in zone, you have a chance to play the ball a little more. That's the benefit of playing it for the Argos defense.
Argonauts look at 2nd and 5. Browning has the toss from Kemp. He'll have another Toronto first down. He's inside the 35, almost to the 32. Kelly Malvo, number 3, over to make the tackle. Good play selection, and Browning is now hurt. Alfonso Browning.
Johnny Scott, you know, with him out of the game already, makes it that much more important for the Argos offensively to keep drives going. They don't want to keep their defense off the field. Here's the end of the play to Alfonso Browning. He gets pulled down by Kelly Malvo. It's hard to see what, well, he reaches for his knee.
Well, guys, I just talked to GM Paul Mazzotti. He is obviously very concerned about his defensive lineman. He says Johnny Scott was not being very cooperative on the field. As you can expect, he was in a great deal of pain, but it was definitely a serious ankle injury.
And now another injury to a key Argonaut. Alfonso Browning had a solid week in Saskatchewan last Saturday. Solid evening anyway. 6 catches, 63 yards. He had 15 for 193 in the first 4 games of the season, and a couple of touchdowns.
Well, Andrew English will be the guy that will have to come in for him in that offense.
Another injury timeout at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. It's the Stampeders on top by 6. Timeout. The Argos have a first down thanks to Alfonso Browning, who is now off to the dressing room. From the shotgun, Kemp stands in and fires. Another completion, and a flag comes down as Mitchell made the catch at the 21.
Good news is for the Argos, Alfonso Browning walking around on his own, trying to shake off the injury.
Roughing the passer, Calgary 51.
Well,
first down.
There's a huge penalty on Alondra Johnson, roughing the passer. So the Argos will get credit for the yardage picked up by Mitchell and additional tacked on.
Well, here's the throw. Jimmy Kemp on a crossing pattern. You see Alondra Johnson, well, right around the neck. I mean,
yeah, he could have just hugged him at that point and there would have been no call, right?
Well, whether it's
he
late, even if it's not late, that's going to be roughing the passer. You know, and Alondra Johnson knows better than that.
So this sets the Argonauts up with a first down. Goal to go at the 10. Kemp shotgun. There's the toss. No catch. Alford couldn't hang on.
I think Ted Alford tried to put the brakes on, and he was thinking about the move he was going to make before he caught the football. The ball was in the air, and I think Ted Alford said, okay, if I put the brakes on here, once I catch it, I'll spin back to the inside, and I'll beat my man for the touchdown. We forgot one thing.
Got to catch the ball.
Got to catch the ball first.
And control. So it'll be 2nd and 10. At the 10, big play for Toronto. And obviously the Stampeder defense as well. Kemp has time. Can he get to the end zone? Not this time. He's hammered by Alondra Johnson legally this time, and Kemp looked to be shaken up.
Whoa. He took a big hit. I'm surprised that Jimmy Kemp, there's Alondra Johnson right there. I'm surprised that Kemp is even walking around after this one. He gets it right in the back of the head. There's the lane to run through. He sees it. He just can't get up in there fast enough. Pilon has a chance, and there comes Johnson. Oh, boy. That's right in the back of the head. That one, that usually knocks you out cold. To Kemp's credit, he got back up again. Now he's got a hold on field goal.
3rd down, field goal try. Marini missed his first opportunity at 48. This will be spotted right on the 15. Marini hammers it through, and the Argos creep within 3.
Well, Jimmy Kemp found the tee, so that means he's thinking clearly anyways. But you know, when the Argos get down that close, this is a missed opportunity for them. Chance to punch it in after the Alondra Johnson penalty, roughing the passer.
3 cracks from the 10-yard line.
Yeah, you got to come away with the major, and especially when you're on the road, you've had some penalties, things aren't really going your way. You really want to capitalize on opportunities like that. And to go away with 3 is almost a loss in that drive.
Well, that drive was set up after the interception. So the Stampeders try and bounce back now. The Argos trailing 21-18. Here's Kelvin Anderson. Only a couple that time for Kelvin as he ran into Michael O'Shea.
He's fine on the sideline talking to John Jenkins about what they'll do the next time, which is really surprising after this hit from Alondra Johnson. And that's one he didn't see coming.
Yeah, he was ducking out of the way from another tackler in there. Fleming was there along with Kelly Lockbaugh. On 2nd and a bunch. Wide open. Bo Richter. First catch of the night, Mark Bo Richter. He takes it all the way.
It looked to me like the Argos got caught trying to disguise the defense. Marcus Crandall had his choice. Bo Richter opened by 10 yards or Travis Moore on the sideline opened by 12 yards. See the defense up in there trying to show the blitz and then bail out? Well, they didn't bail out in time. Vernon Mitchell was caught way too close to the line of scrimmage, and you can see what happens if you let the skies beat you.
72-yard scoring play from Marcus Crandall to Mark Bo Richter, and the Stampeders feeling a little more comfortable now. First catch of the night for Bo Richter. When you only catch one, might as well be a 72-yard touchdown.
Well, here's your choice. You got the outside. Actually, it wasn't Travis Moore. I thought it was Peterson down the sideline. He was open by about 12 yards. He makes a block on Simmons at the end, but Bo Richter was in with that block or not. Crandall, he just had his choice. He's back there saying, do I throw it to the young guy or do I throw it to Bo Richter? Well, Bo Richter's got a little more experience. It's kind of like Gretzky going to Lemieux in '87.
As you throw it to the young guy who's that wide open, boy, a lot of things go through your mind, don't
That's
they?
right.
If you're out there and that open and waiting for it, this guy's a whale of a football player. Fun to watch. 1,092 yards and 8 touchdowns as a rookie last year.
Really got going last week with a touchdown catch. Very similar to that. A little better coverage last week than he got right there with Vernon Mitchell caught in disguising a blitz and not bailing out of there fast enough.
Calgary Sun is proud to be the official sponsor of the Stampeders. For the best sports coverage in the city, pick up the Calgary Sun. Now, winner allows overtime.
There we go. Michael Jenkins is back. Let's see what he can do if he gets his hands on the football. Short kick, and Jenkins does not have the opportunity. Argos, though, will begin near the 45-yard line, trailing now by 10.
9, Argo.
Sorry we missed a first down catch there. Argos on 1st and 10. Alfonso Brawning
Back in the game. That's good news for the Argos. He was injured. He looked like he really banged up that knee. Came back in the game in the very next series. So that's good news out of the 2 injuries. Johnny Scott in the locker room defensively. Alfonso Brawning back on the field.
and a huge touchdown for the Calgary Stampeders. The Argos want to respond to it right now. They're down by 10 again at 28-18. Michael Jenkins picks his way through. Nice run and a spin move for Jenkins. Stopped by Greg Freres, the Stampeder safety. The gain is 13.
Michael Jenkins really didn't have a hole when he hits this side of the line, but when he gets in there, watch his athletic ability and his balance. hits right in the hole. He hurdles a couple of tackles there, keeps his balance, a nice move in the open field to pick up 3 or 4 more.
Well, 2 rotations there in the air on his side. He averaged 7.1 yards a carry last week at Taylor Field when he picked up 127 yards. 1st and 10 Argos. 46. The Stampeders were waiting. Joe Fleming was there. Michael Jenkins ran into him.
Running backs really have to have good balance, and they have to have good vision. Michael Jenkins has both. Can see the entire line of scrimmage when he gets the football, and then when a tackler is approaching him, he has the balance to be able to keep his feet, make a couple of people miss in the open field. Now Fleming had him wrapped up there, but he'll usually make that first tackler miss.
Gain of a couple, 2nd and 8. Goes at the Stampeder 44. Kemp still looks cool in there. He'll get the first down on a completion at the 30-yard line to Ted Alford.
Well, really the only success Calgary's had defensively against Jimmy Kemp tonight has been when they blitzed. When they sent, Alondra Johnson or Willie Fells, they've been able to get some pressure on Jimmy Kemp, but when they're just going with 4, right now that Toronto offensive line is doing a nice job of double teaming Joe Fleming, keeping him out of the backfield, and then taking care of the other 3 in one-on-one battles. When Alondra Johnson blitzes, they're getting to Kemp.
16 yards for Alford. Nice play action fake. Kemp goes to the end zone. Markers are down on the coverage. Pryor is down in the end zone. Kemp hoping for a call.
Ricky Bell was in a battle with Daryl Mitchell. Daryl Mitchell wasn't the receiver Jimmy Kemp went to.
He was going for Alford.
Yeah, he was going for Ted Alford, but Daryl Mitchell was fighting down the field with Ricky Bell.
Illegal contact. Calgary number 3. It's first down.
That's the newcomer, Kelly Malvo.
Here's the throw. This is the intended target. Anthony Pryor one-on-one with Ted Alford, who's made some 2 or 3 catches just like that one tonight. But it was away from the play that Kelly Malvo drew the coverage, and I think Ricky Bell could have been called for interference as well. He was really grabbing on to Daryl Mitchell.
Alford is over 100 in receiving yards tonight. First down, Toronto. Here's Jenkins, room to the outside. Jenkins cuts it in. Touchdown, Toronto. Michael Jenkins. That was a fine run.
Well, I talked about running backs having 2 qualities: good balance and good vision. Watch the vision as he comes this way. He sees the outside open up. That's all vision. Nothing there. Bounce to the outside. He's got the feet to be able to do it. And then it's a foot race to the end zone. It was his vision that allowed him to get outside. He didn't see anything right at the point of attack. So he bounces it to the outside and then uses his speed to get to the end zone.
That was a real fine touchdown run. With Marini's convert, which is good, the Argos get back within a touchdown. Or get back within 3, I should say.
Real good vision. He looks up into the line of scrimmage. Joe Fleming has plugged it up in there, so he bounces to the outside, and pretty good block by Juan Roque out there. And that allows him to get to the outside. I talked to Mike Clemens before the game about Mike Jenkins and sort of if there's an argument between Clemens and John Jenkins, the offensive coordinator, who obviously likes to pass or would prefer to pass on every down if he had his choice. Clemens said, look, I've always talked to Jenkins about running the football because I believe Michael Jenkins is our best player offensively. And he said, and I know we have Daryl Mitchell on our football team.
That's interesting. 9 carries, 50 yards, and the touchdown for Jenkins. 3 receptions, 85 yards, and the touchdown for Jenkins. So he's got 6 touchdowns in his last 2 games. Michael is right.
Well, and he wasn't taking anything away from Daryl Mitchell, who's obviously one of the best in the league in his position, but he said he really believes that Michael Jenkins is their best threat.
Antonio Warren returning for the Stampeders. Now, you've changed that a little bit. If you got the quotes right, you said best threat now.
Well,
you said best player originally.
Best player. John Jenkins loves Daryl Mitchell because Daryl Mitchell's involved in the passing game. So if you ask John Jenkins, he'd say, well, I think Daryl Mitchell is our most lethal weapon. There, I've changed it again.
See, this isn't good journalism.
If you ask Mike Clemens, Michael Jenkins. I'm trying to think of another one. I can't.
You know, I'm going to let you swing on that one.
Okay, thanks very much. Just give me just enough rope to hang myself, aren't you?
On first down, Crandall escapes the first wave of Argonauts. And had a receiver, that was Scott Regimbald, who couldn't hang on.
Marcus Crandall was very, very close to crossing the line of scrimmage, but the officials were right on it. The line of scrimmage was the 38-yard line. Crandall scrambled up in the middle, and he was very, very close to going across that line of scrimmage, which would have put the Calgary Stampeders back even further. But he just took that little step backwards at the right time. 38-yard line was first down, or excuse me, was the line of scrimmage. And you see how he went up to about the 36, put on the brakes, and then backed up. So he was about a yard and a half back behind it.
Gifted athlete, no question about it. Marcus Crandall. Now the Stampeders look at 2nd and 10 and try to respond to that Argonaut touchdown on this drive. Another injured player.
Yeah, Clifton Abraham's coming off the field. Training staff had to go get him, so he's got to come off for 3 plays. He looks like he'll be okay, but not for the next 3 plays. So now some changes in that secondary. Dwayne Provo moves from safety to the corner. Brad Elberg goes in at safety.
You think Crandall has noticed that? And he has. 2nd and 10.
Oh, that's exactly where he went after, was the safety position. Travis Moore wide open in one seam. Mark Boerichter not quite as open, but also open in the opposite seam. Just couldn't get the football to him. Missed opportunity for Travis Moore.
So the Stampeders will send in the punting unit. Duncan O'Mahony has gone up against the former Stampeder punter Tony Martino tonight, and the kid is winning the battle on average so far. 42.5 to 38.6. This one is blocked, however. Elberg got through, and the Argonauts will have possession of the football.
We talked about this in the first half. Adrian Smith was not getting a lot of return yards because the Argos were electing to send everybody on the line of scrimmage at the youngster and Duncan O'Mahony to see if he could handle the pressure. Elberg was close twice in the first half, and this time he lays out perfectly. He's got the great timing, and he gets that football. You've got to go and put your hands right on top of the football and watch how he times his jump as he goes across and blocks it for a big play for the Argos.
Toronto set up at the 26-yard line. Elberg, hero of the moment. O'Mahony is blocked, and the Argos get a chance to score again. 2:22 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Toronto trailing by 3. Shillingford was the target, and he hangs on.
That's a difficult throw for Jimmy Kemp because he rolled to his left. Shillingford was going back across the middle, opposite direction to where Jimmy Kemp was rolling. So Kemp had to turn his body around and try and throw it back into the middle of the field. And of course, there's tons of traffic in there. That's awful dangerous throw.
Grayson Shillingford picks up 11. The Argos have a first down.
How's that night for Jimmy Kemp? 3:27 already.
Couple of touchdowns. First down here from the 15. Michael Jenkins. And he ran right into Alondra Johnson, but Johnson couldn't bring him down. He finds his way to the 5.
We've seen the vision. We've seen the balance. And now we see a little power out of Michael Jenkins. Great matchup. Michael Jenkins and Alondra Johnson.
Johnson hits him.
Right there's first contact.
He can't bulldog him. Can't bring him down.
He knocks Alondra Johnson's helmet off, and with power, drives for 4 or 5 more yards. So now we've seen 3
different aspects of his game. The power displayed there. The gain is 9 yards and a little bit. This is second, less than a yard to go for an Argo first down. Jenkins will have it.
Well, that time he got Joe Fleming involved.
And that's a slightly different story than the linebacker Johnson. Ray Jacobs was also in on it. However, Jenkins gets the first down. The Argos have 3 cracks at it from inside the 5.
Well, it's awful tough to run where Joe Fleming lines up. You know, and when Jenkins has had his success, it's been bouncing out to the outside because Fleming, his motor goes full speed from start to finish.
First and goal to go. Argos at the Stampeder 4. Faked it to Jenkins, tossed to the end zone. There's your touchdown. Ted Alford has the touchdown. And that was a wonderfully executed play by Jimmy Kemp. For the first time tonight, the Argos have the lead.
Well, Jimmy Kemp had to put on the brakes because the containment came from that side of the field right over here. He wants to go with the play action fake and hope that he gets out and around, but Willie Fells is right there to contain him. It's the throw behind, and Ted Alford throws on the air brakes. They'll fly right by and comes up with a touchdown.
Marini's point after. And on the blocked punt, the Argos score quickly. Brad Elberg got through to block O'Mahony's punts. The Argos were set up inside the 25, and now Toronto is on top as we head to the 4th quarter. It's the Argos 32, the Stampeders 28.
Wendy's Friday Night Football at the quarter.
Wow, how about the Argos? You got 2 touchdowns, a field goal, and they got a single from the missed field goal. 18 points in the 3rd quarter. They have the lead, Matt.
Oh, and the reason why the Argonauts are competitive right now and have the lead is 2 reasons. Jimmy Kemp's ability to see downfield and his mobility to buy himself some extra time. He bounces out of the pocket, vision downfield, throws a strong arm ball to Alfred. Move the chains, team's in good situation. And here, the positive gains in eyes and vision of Michael Jenkins. Great bounce, breaking tackles. The Toronto Argonauts are on a roll right now.
What a great evening here at McMahon Stadium. Lots on the line still, with Toronto on top of Calgary 32-28. Ted Alford has his first touchdown of the season.
What a night he's having. 6 catches tonight so far for 114 yards, and we got a quarter to play.
Antonio Warren for the Stampeders across the 20. The 25. Flags are down as Warren takes off. 1 to beat. But he won't get the opportunity as he's caught from behind by Donovan Carter. There are penalty markers down at the 25 and at the 32.
Antonio Warren coming into this game led the league in kickoff returns, but I think this one is coming back.
Illegal block. Calgary 34. First down, Calgary.
Kent Ring getting called for holding. I think there was 2 or 3 holdings, though, you could have called.
Yeah. They called an illegal block on Ring prior to when we saw him there. Ted Alford, Rookie of the Year with the BC Lions in 1996, back from arena ball. And having a pretty good season as an outside receiver in his 4th game with the Argos. 16 receptions for 207 coming in. Here's his first touchdown.
Well, that's taking advantage of a big turnover out of your special teams when Brad Elberg came on the punt on Duncan O'Mahony, and he's been close twice in the game, and this time he got it. When your special teams make a big play, it gives your whole team a ton of momentum. And the Argos went in and scored right after that.
Really looking at that touchdown, I mentioned that Jimmy Kemp really executed the play very, very well. And you've got the Stampeders there sitting and waiting on Jenkins, and a nice fake, and he's able to find Alford in the end zone.
Well, after the first half, the time of possession was heavily favoring the Calgary Stampeders, and in that 3rd quarter, the Argos dominated. They had the ball for around 11 minutes to 4 for Calgary, so it's right back to even in the time at the possession department. Now, because of that, it's good news for that defense without Johnny Scott in it for the Argos. What kind of circle was that? That's the last time. Hey, that's the last time you get the pen. I just, for the record, that's how you make a circle, buddy. See, John Wells, for the record, took my pen there and tried to make a circle.
Well, I was just pointing out something you never mentioned. 392 yards.
You are a rookie telestrator guy, man.
Well, I don't have much experience. You're right about that.
Jimmy Kemp looks like a veteran out there, and he really is. 8 years in the CFL.
Yeah, he is a veteran, but he's taken control of this team is what he's done.
He just looks
poised,
calm,
confident.
poised, and confident. Marcelo Simmons, another injury. He's up making his way off the field.
Hey, this one we got.
So with the penalty on the punt return against Calgary, Stamps begin at the 15. Kelvin Anderson out across the 20 to about the 22.
Scott
Hayton was there.
Scott Reginbold, a pretty nice block on Michael O'Shea to get a few yards for Calvin Anderson. Fullback is that extra lineman, and Michael O'Shea is the guy who has a chance. He's right here, and Michael O'Shea is right here. Watch the block he makes on O'Shea just to spring Calvin Anderson there. Gets them all tied up, kicks him to the outside, and Anderson gets a little seam.
2nd and 3. Pitch this time. The other side, Calvin Anderson. Another flag flies as Anderson gets into first down territory without a problem. Elberg moving into that safety spot with injuries back there over to make the tackle. So we'll see what the infraction was.
Of course, Elberg with the big play on special teams, the block punt.
Holding. Calgary 87. 2nd down repeated.
That's Aubrey Cummings, a wide receiver.
Penalties starting to balance out a little bit now in this game. It was all Argos in the first half, and now Calgary. A few penalties in this half. They have a way of doing that. Not because the officials are deliberately trying to balance it out. I'm not implying that at all. They just have a way of balancing themselves out.
From the shotgun. Key play for the Stampeders. Bo Richter made the catch. And a solid tackle might have prevented the first down. Orlando Steinauer in there.
I got a feel for Dwayne Provo in the secondary for the Toronto Argonauts right now because he's been asked to play 3 different positions. He started the game at free safety. Then with the injuries they've sustained, he's had to move to the corner. Clifton Abraham was the first guy hurt, and then when Marcelo Simmons went down and he's on the sideline, they asked Dwayne Provo to play the halfback position. So there's 3 positions on the field in the secondary: corner, halfback, and safety. Dwayne Provo's played them all tonight.
So it's 3rd down and at least 3 to go. So Almani in. His last one was blocked, and that set up the Argonaut touchdown. Got this one away cleanly. Adrian Smith reversing his field. Lockbaum missed him, but a whole pile of Stampeders arrive on top of Adrian Smith right after that. Justin Ring leading the charge.
Of the Jays moving up may seem astronomical. There's still lots of time for them to come back.
that was Michael Jenkins there running into Joe Fleming. I had the wrong ring on the last tackle on special teams. I should correct that.
Kent Ring.
Kent Ring, not Justin.
Well, we won't make a mistake with Joe Fleming. You know his name, and his name is announced a whole bunch. Sandy Annunziata doing his best to try and slow down Joe Fleming, but it's awful tough when he's going full speed all game long and he gets involved in the tackle there.
On 2nd down, Kemp almost in tight coverage, almost connecting out across midfield with Daryl Mitchell, and Greg Frères was over to make the stop, or at least over in coverage.
Yeah, he comes up. The ball looked like it was intended almost for Alfonso Browning at first, but
he dropped his hands down, and Mitchell was the closest target.
The proud daddy comes up and makes a play.
All-Canadian last year. Greg Frères. Martino got a charge that time and had to get it away in a hurry. This is Antonio Warren for the Stampeders, and good special teams coverage for the Argos, led by Donovan Carter and Orlando Bowen. Here's the game story brought to you by SportCheck.ca, Canada's choice for sporting goods.
Big night for Jimmy Kemp, and they'll likely need him some more tonight. Michael Jenkins, 6 touchdowns in 2 games. Not bad, climbing right after Mike Pringle. Calvin Anderson also has a couple. A big block punt, important for the Argos, one of the turnovers.
10 points off turnovers. The Stampeders actually ended up with a touchdown on an almost turnover. And the interception that wasn't counted. Aubrey Cummings, catch and run from the 40 to the 45, his first reception of the night.
Aubrey Cummings is the option against the zone he was facing. He's the open guy on the wide side of the field, and the defense will give up that throw because they think it's a long throw for short yardage. But Aubrey Cummings makes the yards after the catch to get the first down.
8 receptions for 108 yards for Cummings thus far in 2001. And for 13. Crandall is caught. Alfred Payton, sack number 6 for Payton on the season.
Alfred Payton goes to the inside. He's sitting right in here, and he's going to just slide over here and go inside on an inside move on Jay McNeil. McNeil can't stay with him and has 2 on the night. That makes his total 7 on the season so far and counting.
Could be a huge play. Lots of time to go, however. Danielson the catch on 2nd down at 18.
Marcus Crandall was looking at the official like he wanted to get a penalty flag thrown and get the automatic first down. But Alfred Payton picking things up for the injured Johnny Scott on that defensive line. We talked about at the beginning of the game, the importance of this Argo defensive line to get pressure with just 4 guys. And you can see Alfred Payton, number 1 in the CFL, now has 7. He had 5 coming in. He has 2 tonight.
Our 7-11 scoring drive was unsuccessful earlier this
It's been a tough night on both teams. There have been lots of injuries down there, and the Argos have really taken the brunt of it. We talked about Johnny Scott going out. Alfonso Browning was injured, but back into the lineup.
Oh, thank heaven for 7-11. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Hot night in Calgary, but not quite as steamy as it was last evening in Hamilton.
Well, that doesn't look good either.
Calvin Tiggle being helped out. Argo fans join AMJ Campbell at the next Argo home game. For tickets, call 416-489-ARGO. AMJ Campbell, the official movers of the Toronto Argos. Argos have a stop in Winnipeg next week, and then it's on to Montreal the following week. 4 games on the road.
Well, now a big concern for Mike Clements is the injuries, because that's the heart of his defense right down the middle. Johnny Scott, then Calvin Tiggle.
O'Mani had 1 blocks. No problem here. Adrian Smith out to the 22. Kelly Lockbaum leading the Stampeder tacklers. Got a chance to start tonight. Playing well on special teams as well. It's Toronto on top at McMahon. Use big plays to take the lead.
Brad Elberg blocking the punt. That set up this touchdown to Michael Jenkins, and it was, or excuse me, to Ted Alford, and that was the go-ahead touchdown. Put the Argos on top for the first time.
Toronto, first down. But the lead a little precarious, only by 4 points now. Kemp stands in. Penalty markers are down as Kemp connects with Mitchell.
Looked like Ricky Bell fell down. Now was he pushed down by Daryl Mitchell? Because if he was, that would be offensive pass interference, and this one's coming back.
Illegal contact on a receiver, Calgary 26.
No.
That penalty's declined. First down.
Ricky Bell had the contact, and that's what caused him to trip and fall down on the play, opening up Daryl Mitchell. It's been quite a battle between the two of them, and Bell has got away with a couple of holds. He's going to come from the left of your screen, right across the middle. There he is. Falls down, opens up Daryl Mitchell.
Mitchell for 44 yards.
Greg Frere's close to a face mask to tack it on. Some more yardage at the end of that one.
So Ricky Bell caught there, but the gain of 44 yards, obviously. Super for the Argos. Here's Kemp. Cut from behind. Joe Fleming grabbed him from behind.
Joe Fleming took the shoe right off of Jimmy Kemp. He's got to go and put that one back on. Kemp didn't see anything he liked. This is what's called coverage tackle for your defensive line. Nothing to the front side. Some pressure there for Mark Pilon. And Fleming pulls the shoe right off. That's good movement by Big Joe Fleming. He was going straight up the field and then cut back to his right. Got to tie his lace. Jimmy Kemp's got to get that lace tied up. Don't snap it to him yet.
Here we go. Kemp makes it 2nd and 10. Will be a little short of the first down on the completion to Michael Jenkins.
Ooh, decision time for Mike Clements now.
Just got it away on the time on the play clock as far as the down was concerned.
Well, 4-point lead for the Argos right now means a field goal makes it a major. 7 points. But you're awfully tempted when you're that close. It's basically a long yard. And Clemens wants to gamble.
All right. Are you in favor of this call? It's a long yard, Glenn. 3rd down. A yard and a bit to go for the Toronto Argonauts. Gambling here with a 4-point lead. Michael Jenkins. Does he have it? I'm not sure he's got it. I think the Stampeders might have stopped him there.
Well, it depends on where they mark the ball, because his forward progress looked like he might have just been right at the marker, but when he got hit the second time, it turned him back. So that becomes the discretion of the official. He steps up there, he puts his foot down, and that's where the ball is marked, and they'll measure this one.
Alondra Johnson was right in the middle of things, as he usually is.
Uh-oh, and he's screaming over there, and he may just get this penalty flag, which would obviously give the Argos the first down then. See, that second hit there by Willie Fells turned him away, but it may not matter. Listen to this call.
It's a first down.
Objectionable conduct, Calgary 51.
Oh,
first
boy.
down.
Alondra made a great play on that, but the penalty is really going to hurt, and the flag goes up again. Alondra Johnson.
Conduct, Calgary 51.
Alondra Johnson lost his cool. He thought that they had stopped him short, and when he saw the official mark the ball, he took off running after the official and said something obviously that they didn't like. That's
they keep
too bad.
marching against Calgary here.
John, that's 2 bad penalties on Alondra Johnson. We saw the late hit on Jimmy Kemp earlier in the game where he put it right around his neck, and then that one to put the Argos in scoring territory.
He took one last week too against the Lions.
And that's a veteran, and you know that's why Wally Guano is shaking his head, because he expects more out of Alondra Johnson from a leadership role in that defense. He'll come over and cool off on the sideline.
Costs the Stampeders 20 yards and sets the Argonauts up at the 15. Kemp can smell blood. End zone toss. A little too far for Alford, who made the catch on the second bounce, but that does not count.
I think Jimmy Kemp was hoping Ted Alford would read his mind, because the play was like this to come across the middle. But Alford gets to the outside. You see, I think Kemp was looking at him saying, could you read my mind? I'd rather throw it to the outside. I know the play was called to go over the middle. Ted Alford couldn't do it. He's not a mind reader, but he's having a good night.
6 for 114. And his first touchdown of the season. 2nd and 10 Argos. The gamble paid off. Toronto taking time off the clock. Kemp. Tight coverage, and it'll be 3rd down. Schillingford was the intended target.
Ricky Bell was all over him. Ricky Bell was in perfect position. It's going to come right across from the left of your screen. Here he comes over the middle. And it's a great play. Actually, it was William Fields, 29, not Ricky Bell, 26. But he gets his hands in there and was all over Shellingford.
The Argonauts on top by 4. And a field goal makes all kinds of sense here to increase that lead to 7 and make the Stampeders score the touchdown to tie. Jacob Marini has his second of the night.
I think Calgary was offside.
Shouldn't make much difference on 3rd and 10, really.
No, in fact, they probably won't take.
Offside, Calgary 29. That penalty is declined.
Yeah.
The field goal is good.
You don't want to take points off the board ever, and it would just put them in 3rd and 5. They'd kick the field goal again. So obviously, Mike Clemens takes the 3 points. The field goal was good, and they get the 7-point lead.
Argos on top of the Stampeders, 35-28. We're in for another great finish on Wendy's Friday Night Football. Mike Pinball Clemens, Argo head coach, has a pretty good record on the road.
He has won 6 in a row on the road.
Now, he hasn't counted this one as number 7 here tonight. But his team has really battled back from interesting situations and tough calls.
Well, they have.
And deficits.
Alonda Steinauer's interception that didn't count. A lot of penalties in the first half. They battled through that. And some injury problems with Johnny Scott, Alfonso Browning, Clifton Abraham.
Marini puts it out. So Calgary will have the football out in good position. Next home game for the Stampeders, August 17th against the Rough Riders. Always a great draw at McMahon.
Oh yeah, that's the second half of a home and home with Saskatchewan. They'll go to Regina next week and then come back and play them right here in McMahon Stadium. And very important series for both teams.
32,000 on hand here tonight. Try and be part of it the next time the Stampeders are home by calling that number. Haven't seen anyone head for the exit yet. 6:50 to go. There was early movement and a flag comes down a little late. Kelvin Anderson made the catch. He'll be well short of the first down, maybe only a couple of yards. There are markers on both sides of the field as O'Shea wrapped up Anderson.
Travis Moore had got motion coming from all the way across the field.
Offside. Toronto 99, first down repeated.
And he was heading downhill at the line of scrimmage, probably drew
Alfred Payton.
Yeah, well, the Argos offside on the other side. There was a couple of guys that jumped offside. Alfred Payton, one of them.
Less than 7 minutes to go. It's Toronto on top, 35-28. The Argos have battled back from a 2-touchdown deficit. Marcus Crandall humps once, looks deep, wide open, Bo Richter, yes! Touchdown, Calgary! All he does is catch the big ones. 72 and 60-yard touchdowns for Bo Richter tonight.
Well, that is taking advantage of the injury situation that the Argos have faced tonight. Brad Ellsberg, the safety, was out of position in the middle of the field, and Mark Bo Richter went right after him.
Three catches, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns for Mark Bo Richter. We're all even at McMahon. 35-35.
Marcus Crandall was looking to his left when he dropped back to throw down the middle, and he pulled Brad Ellsberg out of there.
Great place to watch a football game. 32,000 600 on Hand and McMahon tonight.
See number 3, Brad Elberg. Watch how he runs to his left because of the pump fake from Crandall. He slides over and then goes backside, influencing the safety and opening up the middle for Mark Boerichter. And the reason he can do that is because he's got good protection up front. He's got time to look to his left, pump fake, still's got lots of time to go back over the middle, and Boerichter's wide open.
Marcus Crandall hitting on 70.7% of his passes. And Boerichter has caught everything he's thrown his way. 3 for 142 yards. And the 2 touchdowns. Crandall good on 16 of 27 for 312 and 3 TDs tonight.
They may need a choreographer on the dance, but it was a good touchdown by Mark Boerichter.
Never enough time to work on your steps in the end zone, is there?
No.
6:03 to go. All even at McMahon. Darryl Mitchell. Nice move at the 25, and there are flags everywhere. 1, 2, 3 pieces of orange nylon down there. Not a bad night.
Well, both quarterbacks have had very good nights.
Illegal block. Toronto number 2. First down.
Donovan Carter looked a little bleaker for Wally Buono's team a few moments ago.
Only 10 losses in this stadium for the Calgary Stampeders since '93. They just lost once last year. They've lost once already this year.
Calgary fans do not take kindly to losses in this ballpark.
And this one is still in the balance.
It certainly is. And they're right into it here. It opens up for Jimmy Kemp.
Willie Fells can
Flags
get a
are down
penalty
on Kemp.
I don't know if Willie Fells could have pulled up, but I don't know if he knew that Jimmy Kemp would be tackled by his teammates. You know, definitely
he didn't slide feet first.
No, he did not. He was going to take the hit.
Major foul, spearing.
They call it spearing.
First down.
They're going to call it spearing because Willie Fells led with his head. It wasn't late hit on the quarterback. It wasn't unnecessary roughness. He led with his head. Didn't matter if it was the quarterback or not. A ton of penalties in this football game.
As you say, it does have a tendency to even out. They were against Toronto early. Stampeders have taken their share in the second half. First and 10, Toronto at the Argos 36. Jimmy Kemp into double coverage.
Greg
Mitchell
Frere.
can't bring it down.
What a
Frere
play.
made the play. Ricky Bell was there as well.
What a play. Greg Frere's covered a ton of ground to get all the way over and help out on Darryl Mitchell. Bell slides to the inside, but you're going to see number 12 come across the screen and knock that ball away. Darryl Mitchell in a one-on-one will win most of those battles. But because of the help of the safety, Greg Freres, who covered about 40 yards of territory to get out there, it's no catch.
Second down and 10, Argos still at the 36. Here comes the charge. Kemp got it away. Mitchell was looking in the wrong direction. Greg, and it's Alford. Ted Alford, number 82.
Yeah, Greg Freres again covering a ton of ground. If the ball is thrown anywhere close, I think Greg Freres has a chance at that one too. He went 40 yards to his right on the first down and about 40 yards to his left on second down. Here goes Kemp. He's going to roll a bit to his right, throwing to the defensive left. Here comes number 12. You see Greg Freres from the right of your screen. He comes out there. He's right in that play. Greg Freres is a little sleepy. He's got a new baby at home. He's not showing it.
Born on Sunday. First for the Freres family. Antonio Warren had got some nice returns. This is one of his better ones. And a flag there as well. 17 on the return for Warren. A nail-biter for both coaches here tonight.
Yeah, but the officials just have to keep their flags in their pocket. The strength of the Argos win on the road. The strength of the Stamps win at home. Something's got to give tonight.
Illegal block. Calgary 33. First down.
Yeah, that's enough penalties, boys. We're going to hit triple figures in a minute.
35-35. 4:28 to go.
Almost 30 penalties between the two teams. That's plenty. That's more offense.
You can hear the crowd in the background yelling, "We want a ref."
That's more offense from the striped shirts than both teams.
What a great night to be at McMahon. A perfect evening. Here's O'Shea on special teams against Tunkara. Now that's not really very fair. Oh,
special teams.
Tunkara gets a takedown.
Special teams from start to finish are an all-out brawl. You know those brawls that start in the bar at the end of the night? That's what special teams are.
No,
I've never been involved with one. I've just heard about them.
Oh, Wendy's CFL Live tomorrow from BC Place. Sooners on holidays, I'll be there with Matthew Donegan. 10:30 Eastern, we'll see the Alouettes and the Lions. Another delay. Another injury. The Argonauts have taken a beating here tonight. Johnny Scott, the most serious injury. This is Curtis Gallick being helped off. Other players have gone out and come back. Scott has not returned to the ball game.
Alfonso Browning, one of them that was hurt earlier, came back on the field and played. It's a makeshift secondary that Pinball Clemens has put together with the injuries to Marcelo Simmons and Clifton Abraham, and Dwayne Provost played a lot of different spots. Right now he's at halfback. They've asked Vernon Mitchell to go play the corner. He's been a linebacker all game.
Stampeders with a 5-receiver set. Kelvin Anderson carries for about 3, maybe 4.
I mean, that is really amazing when Vernon Mitchell is out there playing corner. You got to think that George Cortez wants to get a one-on-one maybe with Travis Moore on Vernon Mitchell, who already has 2 pass interference calls in this game. Johnny Scott, of course, missing from that defensive line.
So Joe Jackson is drawn in. Orlando Bullen is playing on defense as well. Crandall had to fire that one into the turf. The heat was on.
Well, and now the fans wanted a penalty on Roger Dunbrook. They thought he was a little rough with Marcus Crandall at the end of that play. You know, in a tie ball game, though, with all the injuries in the secondary for the Argos, you got to give them credit. They're missing Johnny Scott. They're plugging a bunch of holes with backups, and they're holding their own.
35-35, nothing decided yet. Somebody's going to have to kick a field goal or score a touchdown, or dare I say we might see overtime. Manny's kick, a nice one down to the 25, taken by Adrian Smith. Solid special teams work by the Stampeders, and that gets the house excited. Lawrence Deck leading the way, number 36.
It has been an exciting game, hasn't it? A lot of big plays. Jimmy Kemp's had a good night.
Michael Jenkins, not a bad evening. 6 touchdowns over his last 2 games, a couple tonight.
Marcus Crandall, a couple big long bombs to Bo Richter.
And Bo Richter, well, just 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, just a couple catches.
Well, and 1 other catch, but we don't mention that because it wasn't anywhere near 72 to 60 yards. It's on the line here at McMahon in Calgary. 3 minutes to go. The This is Michael Jenkins. Better than 5. Don't go away. We've got to finish this one in Calgary this evening. It's Wendy's Friday Night Football. Jimmy Kemp and the Argonauts have battled back all evening long to get even with the Calgary Stampeders. In fact, the Argos had the lead a few moments ago, but now it's dead even, 35-35. Argos looking at 2nd and 3 from the Toronto 36. 3 minutes remain.
Well, you pick them. Which one would you rather have playing for you tonight?
Well, I guess 382
Timer,
beats 312.
Please put 1 second back on the clock. 1 second.
All this to add a second.
258.
There you go. Well, somebody's watching the clock. Matter of fact, we're all watching the clock. Michael Jenkins, and that'll be an Argonaut first down as Jenkins gets across the 40 to the 45. Alondra Johnson, 2-time All-Canadian who took a couple of critical penalties in a recent Argonaut drive.
Michael Jenkins got up limping a little bit after that one. He's staying in the game. He got up limping and favoring, I believe it was his right leg.
Now for the Argos here, there's too much time on the clock to score too quickly when you look at it, isn't it?
Well, they're still running the football. They want to grind it out and score to win the game in the dying seconds.
Campbell avoids the pressure. Andrew English makes the catch. A nice one, but he's only got about a 4-yard gain, maybe 5.
Well, Michael Jenkins picked up the blitz from the Calgary linebacking core, and that gave Kemp time to throw that football to Andrew English. Jenkins doing it all tonight. 82 yards rushing, 92 yards receiving.
Great numbers for Jenkins again. This is 2nd down. A little less than 5. Under the cover. Oh! Jenkins couldn't hang on. Alondra Johnson was breathing down his neck.
I mean, that was good coverage by Alondra Johnson, and he needed to make a big play. He was step for step with Michael Jenkins. That's a matchup the Argos would rather have, to get one-on-one in the open field with Jenkins and Alondra Johnson, who's a good run stopper, but not necessarily known for his coverage ability. But that time he was step for step with Michael Jenkins on the outside, and Jenkins can't hang on to the football. And even if he does, Johnson's there to tackle him, probably short of the first down. So he needed to make a big play after a couple of penalties.
2:01 to go. It's 35-35, Stampeders and the Argonauts. They were coming after Martino that time. Antonio Warren. And the Stampeders will start near the 20. Michael O'Shea leading the tacklers there. After this, the next edition of Sports Desk with Amber and Price. 2 a.m.
Well, there's plenty of big plays in this game to put in the highlight packs.
And everything else under the sun. The stories, the scores, the highlights. Sports Desk. Next edition, 2 a.m. It's even at 35. We're into the final 151. Whoa, huge play by the Argonauts as Marcus Crandall is decked.
And Alfred Payton,
Big
3
guy
on the night. He is coming off the edge, and he is making the big play one after another, working on Kelvin Anderson, the running back. He runs right by him and corrals Marcus Crandall, who wanted the face mask penalty and didn't get it.
A loss of 10 yards. Payton leading the league coming into tonight's game, and he's added 3 more. A minute 30 to go. And the Stampeders are kicking from deep in their own zone.
You know, it's getting
no options here, Glenn. They have to punt.
Yeah, they do. And it's getting frustrating for the Calgary Stampeders because they're playing against a makeshift secondary in Toronto. Brad Albert playing halfback on that last play. Curtis Gallick, who was hurt earlier, was playing corner. And you know, Wally Buono's saying our starting receivers are out there. Why aren't we blowing by these backups? Give credit to the Argos. Came out ready to play. They've played a lot of zone, trying to protect some of the holes. And, of course, the big hug for Alfred Payton, who had a nice sack.
I think it was a bear hug. I think he hurt him. Don't injure your sacker. Charges on. O'Mani calmly kicks it out. It's in the Argos' hands now. Adrian Smith taken right out of midair. Solid tackle there by Kelly Lockbaum. But look what we've got right now. Minute 17 to go. Calgary and Toronto even at 35. That sack was absolutely huge by Payton because the Argonauts have field position right now.
No question. 1 first down and they're in field goal range immediately. So you get 10, 12 yards. You put your field goal team on, you can win this one. Now, the thing is, you don't want to do it too early. Minute 17 left. Alfred Payton has made some big plays tonight. 3 sacks.
99.
Not blocked there. You got to block Alfred Payton.
99.
Goes inside on Jay McNeil.
99. And here's Jenkins. That's a huge play for Toronto, down to the 35.
Well, his biggest one, you mentioned it, John, was just moments ago, Alfred Payton. And the reason it was so big, not only to get Calgary in second and long, but you mentioned the field position. That was a big loss. They had to punt from their end zone, and now they have a chance to kick a field goal and win this game.
1:12 to go. Toronto in control with another first down there from Michael Jenkins. Hard to believe it took so long to discover this running back. Really is. I mean, you may want to pass the football an awful lot, and that may be the offense you've designed.
Well,
but this guy got 5 carries week 1, 10 carries week 2. And last week he exploded for 4 touchdowns, 127 yards, 3 on the ground, 1 on a little shuttle pass. Jenkins has 2 touchdowns tonight. And another big run here with a spin move. The Argos are going to win this if they hang on to the football. James Cotton brought him down.
That's what they have to do, just protect the football, keep it on the ground. Michael Jenkins ripping up big yardage. Get yourself in closer to make this field goal very makeable. Jacob Marini, and big night for Mike Jenkins.
Almost 200 yards.
Yeah. Well, I said last night watching the Hamilton game, I thought Sean Daniels played so well on Joe Mumford, he should maybe be offensive player of the week.
Now you've changed your mind.
Now I'm changing my mind. I like Michael Jenkins.
You see, when you vote too early. Kemp running the option, turns the corner, takes a little more time off the clock. Now 28 seconds remain. Now Marini has the pressure on his shoulders.
Well, now, but they're close enough now that Marini, all he really has to do is hit it hard.
And hammer it right through.
He doesn't even have to make it, because if they just kick from right here, he's looking at a 25-yarder. You can kick it out of the back of the end zone without Calgary getting a chance to field it. So obviously he wants to make it, but he doesn't necessarily have to. They're close enough to win with a single.
Argos are 1st and 10. Ball in the 18. Stampeders will have a hard time stopping a Toronto victory here, although Jenkins is dead in his tracks at the stop there by Alondra Johnson.
The only thing I would say about the Argos now is that they may want to move the ball in the next play to the middle of the field.
Come back the other way and
yeah, get on 2nd down so it's a straight shot for Jacob Marini.
Stampeders will make Marini think about it a little bit longer with a timeout here, but there's still a 2nd down play here for Toronto and 24 seconds on the clock, so they won't kick the field goal at this point in time. You know, 2 of 3 tonight.
Some coaches, though, like to kick in this situation on 2nd down. The reason being, if they
have a penalty, right?
Or if they fumble the snap and recover their own snap, they can line up again on 3rd down and kick it for the win. If you fumble on 3rd down, that's it. The chance to win is over.
Kemp himself, and he slides after a gain of about 6 inches.
Now they get it to the middle of the field, and
there you go. So it's Marini for the win. A terrific comeback effort by the Argonauts just to get even with the Stampeders on home turf here at McMahon. Big plays.
Oh yeah, Ted
all night
Alford.
long.
Big game from Ted Alford. Daryl Mitchell has had some plays offensively. Alfred Payton on defense. 3 big sacks.
Turning point is Payton's sack. Not the non-interception in the first half that you voted for so early, right? Are you with me?
All right, I'm not voting early anymore. You've made your point. They'll let this clock run down now. And then they'll call a timeout with a couple of seconds left. There's 3 on the clock. Jimmy Kemp will call the Toronto timeout. Calgary's used theirs, and they kick it to win.
What you could do here right now, just to rub salt in, is call in Martino and get him to punt it through the end zone.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
The ex-Calgary kicker who ended up as an Argonaut.
Well, the only chance that the Calgary Stampeders have now, if there's a problem with the snap or the hold, and Jimmy Kemp is the holder. Because Marini should be able to put this one right through the back of the end zone, even if he misses.
This for the victory. 3 seconds on the clock. Stampeders. Whoa! He shanked it. It won't matter. 1 point. 36-35. Just a little pressure there because the heat was coming from the Stampeders. It wasn't easy, but the Argos win one at McMahon.
Well, when you look at the win column for the Argos, they don't ask how, just how many. That's 2 now for Toronto.
All they needed was a single point here. So he hammers it through and right through the end zone. A thriller at McMahon in Calgary tonight. Argonauts finish on top, 36-35. Wendy's Friday Night Football. It doesn't get much better than that. 2 in a row for Pinball's Argonauts on the road. Their odyssey continues next week in Winnipeg.